honest, uncensored conversations with the boldest man on the net, Lancescurv.
Welcome once again to another episode of the Lancescurv show. Boy, I slid in on home plate just in the nick of time. Sorry for the delay for like a minute or two. I'm here. We're going to jump right into things. I just wanted to say that I had almost, I thought I was going to have to go through something tonight when I was finishing up my shift today. There was a gentleman who looked like he was high out of his mind. And I didn't notice that he was still on the bus, and I was heading toward the last stop, which is at a remote location. And there are times when people think that they can kind of rip you off or rob you, whatever. And I don't walk in fear. I know I'm prepared physically, but you still have to be on alert big time, because getting cut, getting shot is something that, you know, can still be shocking. And when you're thinking about, well, I got things to do when I go home. I want to go home. I had a successful day today. You know, is it about to go down now? Is it about to happen now? And I was prepared for that. And I just want to tell a little quick story. Got to the end of the line, way out in the boondocks somewhere, and they do it that way because if it comes off, if the bus line leaves downtown and comes back downtown, some guys don't want to get off. You know, unfortunately, we have homeless folks. Sometimes we have people who have issues with drugs, and they just want to have a little place to sit, just lay out in the street and get kicked in the face. I understand that. But, you know, this particular route is known like, hey, the last run of the night, it's just, it is what it is. When you get off, you're nowhere. So anyway, we got to the last stop. This guy's in the back with his arms crossed. He's looking straight ahead, sitting in the back. I said, my brother, I said, it is the last stop. And he's like, what? I said, it's the last stop. So he came up, but I'm noticing his eyes that, you know, his eyes weren't right. He was sweating. He was dressed normally. He wasn't a bum. I hate to say the word, but yeah, I said, okay, what's this guy's problem? So he's like, listen, I can't get off this bus. I can't get off this bus, man. He didn't say it in a threatening tone, but it was like, I can't get off this bus. I said, oh, really? I said, it is the last stop and we are not going back downtown. What do you want to do? He says, well, I really need to go back downtown. So I thought that was game. Now I'm not going downtown. He wants to go downtown. Now we have a conflict of interest. So he looked me in the eye, and I'm watching his hands. You know, I got him. You know, even though I'm sitting down behind the seat, I'm watching him. So he's telling me he looked a little desperate too. Like, I'm thinking, did he do something and had to get away and didn't want to be put off right there? He says, I can't get off right here, bro. And I heard it in his voice that he ain't getting off. Now, I could be smart about it, roll with it. Like when a punch hits you, roll with it and come back with something else. Or I could resist him right there and risk the possibility for to get the seatbelt off, turn my whole body, that he has a knife on me for some reason. You got to think the worst in this situation. So I said, listen, where we're going, where I'm taking the bus in for the night. I said, that's even worse than over here, man. You're going to be even lost even more. So he was like, that's okay, but I just can't get off here. I said, okay, let's roll. Now, I know we have security, but the thing is, I know that I can handle it myself if it was the street, but we have to make sure we're on the plantation. We got to do things right. Rolled them all the way up to the end. There's a security shack right there. Didn't have to say anything, just open the door. I said, this is as far as I could take you. And he said, thank you very much, brother, and got off. See, you never know if something's going to happen or not. You just have to keep yourself alert. But homeboy was jacked up. He was shivering. He was high. And we know that when people look to do things, especially like in an example of home invasions or carjacking, that these guys are not Superman. These guys know that if they do something and catch a charge, they're through. So they're scared while doing it. And sometimes, like most of the times, these guys are not proficient in using a firearm. They're not trained in that. You know, if I am, which I am, but if I don't have one, I'm on a bus, well, what you going to do? So you're not dealing with the normal mind where you can negotiate. They're amped up. Lots of these guys are dusted up, angel dust, cracked up, not liquor or heroin, but things that got them amped up because we going to do this. You have that state of mind with no training, anything can happen. So you'd rather avoid it to live to see another day. And even though it wasn't that kind of situation, I've been in those situations before, out in the street, and I'm still here. I've lived to see another day. So thank God for being able to think. And this is why we have to keep our minds clear. The other thing I want to say is that I have a passenger who is a really great guy. I mean, he's not the richest guy in the world. I'm not saying he's poor, but he's in a wheelchair, and his wheelchair is falling apart. So I want to put this word out, and we're going to get right into the show. That if there's anybody who has, I mean, I know it's maybe an odd request, but if anybody has a spare wheelchair, like maybe sitting around in the garage or in the house from someone who used it, who doesn't use it anymore, just let me know. You can text me or call me, 924-8793, or you can hit me on the email, scurvmedia@gmail.com, SCURVMEDIA, scurvmedia@gmail.com. And, if it's a few bucks for it, fine. If that's even better, if you can't use it, I'll pay the cost of the shipping. You see what I mean? And if anybody knows about wheelchairs or anything like that, let me know. I know there are people that listen to the show that are in different areas, especially in the medical profession, and inroad into that. But now we're here, what we all came for. Brother Hallah, man, the last show that we did, phenomenal. And so many people hit me. More people hit me on a text message than they did in the YouTube comment area. They were in awe of you. There were some who said, well, I disagree this, I disagree that. But I don't see them on the line right now. So like I said, we're going to proceed and we're going to flow with what we're doing. Matter of fact, I'm going to close down the conference line right now instead of having to look out for it. And we'll hook that up later on. But the main thing is that I want to hear what you have to say, and I want us to continue. And you did excellent. You were phenomenal. And for those that don't agree, well, you don't agree, but you got to applaud my brother here for putting it out there. And like I said, most of what he said, I can't dispute. I learned, and I was pretty much empowered for these other thoughts that I've been thinking that I never really came out and said anything about, meaning that I'm really revamping my whole outlook on religion. I'm questioning everything. And yeah, I'm questioning. I'm at that point because I've been so busy basically trying to set this platform up and just hold things down. SCURV still has to cut the grass. I still got to pay the bills. I still got to wash dishes. If it's a whole bunch, you stick it in the dishwasher. But if it's one or two, you still got to do it. So I live a normal life. But all throughout, since the time we've been talking, I've been thinking, bro. You put it on our minds. And there's some people going to say, oh, it's just the devil. I always try to confuse you and so and so. And other folks, there are a lot of people out here who are afraid to think certain things outside of the religious box. So talk to us, brother. Let's flow tonight, man. And I'm going to open up this little chat room over here, and I'm going to watch what everybody's talking about. We're going to have a good old time tonight.
Well, first of all, I want to say I thank you for actually opening up your platform and giving me the opportunity to do this.
It's an honor.
I fought this. I always knew that I was supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. Now, when I was a child and growing up, I used to hear people in the church say, yo, you're going to be a preacher just like your dad. You're going to be just like your dad. You're going to be a preacher just like your dad. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like I contested it. I resented it. Mm-hmm. But then one day I realized I am, just not from the perspective that they think that it was going to be.
Right.
I am, but I'm not no preacher. I'm just a regular, everyday individual who happens to realize something that everybody else does not.
Right.
And people like me and you, and there are other people in the world who have it's an innate thing in us. Your mind works this way, period. When you start to wake up to certain things, your mind begins to regenerate itself. And yes, you will question everything.
Yes, indeed.
Prior to the point of you being enlightened. And you look at life completely different. So I wrestle with this. I wrestle with whether I wanted to actually come out in public and talk about it because of the fact who my parents are, my family, the community. What would people think of me? What would they say to my family? And then one day I just got to the point where I can't care. No truth and no fact. And have the ability to enlighten and does not is worse than the individual who is completely ignorant and don't know.
Right.
Because you know, and you do not help your people, and you sit and watch them be destroyed. You're even worse. And this is how I feel about the ministers. Like, I care less to argue with people, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant or like I'm above them. I'm not. I'm saying it from the point like we are the common folk. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these people that we're talking about that run these churches and that run the machine that we know is to be religion. But common people, the everyday people, are not really the people I want to argue with, because most of those people are people that lack scholarship.
Right.
Most of the people in church will argue with you about these things, but they have never done any research. And I asked them, how can you argue with anyone about something that you have done no research on? You can't. How can you even disagree with something that you don't know the knowledge on? You don't know. You only know what you've been told, what has been indoctrinated in you.
Right.
You can't argue with me about this. I researched this. Like, I grew up Christian, but then I became a Muslim. I was a Muslim for 10 years. I took my Shahada at 78th and Ogas Avenue in Philadelphia. That's my home. I lived there for over 20 years. And that masjid was right down the street from a church. I started noticing the very same things that I was seeing in Christianity. Muslim for 10 years, because it took me 10 years to denounce it, because according to take your Shahada, whether you're on your deen or not, you're always a Muslim. So but I wasn't deening. For anyone who's Muslim to understand what that means, it's like saying I'm not on my square. I'm not really participating. This is my religion of choice. This country feels like, or they buy into the idea that you have to believe in something, that you have to have a God. Yeah. You have to be attached to some type of religion. I would always tell people, they'd be like, well, what are you? And I'd be like, well, I'm Muslim. Until I realized, like, I don't have to keep carrying that title because I don't subscribe to that. So I stopped. So went into other religions. I was over there with the Hare Krishnas, into Buddhism, and I started to see this same thing.
You really went deep. I mean, the Krishnas.
I mean, and they're all in Philadelphia. Like, Philadelphia is a hub of cultures. There are a lot of cultures in my city. So you're going to see religious backgrounds from the different cultures of people that are there. I kept noticing different people saying different things about the same entity. Well, we have the end all to end all and the real truth, and all the rest of them people are wrong and they're going to hell. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But I wanted to always know something, and I asked, why doesn't God come and the end all would say which one is which? Now, Christians would say, well, that's going to happen, in the last days. We still waiting on them days. You know what I'm saying? We're still waiting on God to come and make this determination of who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
All of them are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And I can prove this. But they can't prove otherwise. They can only tell you what they believe. Word belief is important, because of the context that is taught to you, and it's used all nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's fact. Example, we'll take it outside of religion a little bit, something that we would think don't have anything to do with religion because you were taught when you were in school that there's a separation of church and state, correct?
Yeah.
Pretty psychological game, even though like you learned in school about the
Mm-hmm.
you would never connect the Crusades to your church. Whole psychological game. This is what they do.
Religious three-card Molly.
Absolutely. So, look at certain television programs, we'll say like National Geographic or Discovery Channel or whatever, things in relation to the supposed historical points of the Bible. They'll tell you this is exactly what it is. They'll never tell you, oh, we found this. What we believe to be. Oh, this is the area where we believe that we found Jesus' sandals and his cloth. You hear that, they'd be like, oh shit. Man, they found where Jesus' sandals and his cloth was. That's not what they said. Why? Because the word belief has been taught to you. True. So you hear a person say, yo, yeah, they believe, you think that it's fact and it's true. And this is why people say, well, you got to believe in something. I always ask that question, why do you feel the need to have to believe in anything when you can know? So I use your parents. You know who your parents are, right? Those are your parents, that's your mother, that's your father. And you know who they are.
That's right.
The need to have, you don't have to believe that those are your parents, you know that they're your parents. Believe is for people that don't want to know. Faith area. And I don't do gray areas. People that do gray areas are people that straddle the fence. Can't make a definitive decision on anything. State of ambiguity. And when you challenge Christianity, when you challenge these people at church, because now you put them in a moment of a brain fart because you're asking them to do something that, number one, doing in the first place because God told them not to think. And when you don't think, this is when you lose. This is when you lose. So, I would say this to any of the people that have any questions. Challenge me. Ask yourself, how much research have I really put into this? Argue with this brother because I studied for 8 years. Because I looked at all these different religions and I had to take a step back. All these people keep saying the same thing. I need to find out what it is about self. And this is when I started finding out. All of those religions, all of them. I've seen some of the most, I'll give you an example. Names and know nothing out there, I'll just give you an example. There was an instance of a family who had a daughter that was young, who happened to be an associate minister. Right. He became a minister later, but they grew up in this church together. He was a grown man, and she was still in high school, and they was dating. And God ordained this. It goes on.
How could they pick and choose? You know, that's just so weird to me.
In the other circumstances, yeah, in any other circumstances, this is considered statutory rape. Grown-ass man with a child. God ordained this. So that debunks that whole God put it in. Because they say anything God put together, let no man to always be.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true because my parents been divorced for years. Why do they not see these things? It goes back to what I said yesterday. I was into mindless people because of the doctrine and the affirmations that they're putting out into the universe. So in that position of uncertainty, so they got to go to church every Sunday. They got to get a word. If they don't go to church, they will sit in front of the TV. Shot of dope. Hope is a drug. I'm just going to put it out there. It's a drug. It's a drug. And it's got my people in a bad position because that's all they have is hope. You Negroes get upset. Like, what, man? Oh.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be really. Well, I'll tell you this. I had a conversation with my daughter. Got up here with you all tonight. So this is really an extension of what I've been doing for the last hour. And my youngest daughter, I have 4 children. History, I was just as much a part of the problem as anybody else. I have 4 children with 4 different women. So you had 2 parents. You should have been guided correctly. This all onto one side to say, oh, all dysfunctional or screwed up people, one parent homes. This is not true. But one parent chose not to have a relationship with me. Issues. Women aren't the only ones that can have daddy issues. I had daddy issues of my own.
Right.
With women, is how I thought that I could fill that void. It's not true. And because of those things that are on you, people that have the polar opposite of that smell that out on you. They pray you. No, spiritual life is a lot deeper. The actually in religion is very shallow. And they try to be so deep and don't realize they standing in a bathtub of water. It's ridiculous. You try to act like you have no capability or ability to understand. And it's actually the other way around. So my youngest daughter, just like I am, and she's starting to get a lot of she's starting to be ostracized and kind of shunned away from the family like I did. So we do a lot of talking so that she can understand what I told her this. Only that you do the opposite of what the majority people do. They see that you're going in the opposite direction. Even when you're walking in the same direction they're going physically, they know that you're not them no more. And that mechanism automatically goes off. Right along with the Stockholm syndrome.
That's right.
Women don't forgive they men. Look at where they at. To feel about you, well, number one, they God is white. Nobody wants to deal with this, but this is what it is.
Tell us.
Depression, or your very first encounter a guy, or your very first seen it in school, whether you seen it in a book, the image was white. Whether it was that on your grandma wall, or you opened up one of them big print Bibles that had pictures in it, everything you saw and it was white. This is the truth. It takes. Now that's in your psyche. It's in your subconscious now. That's why it's so important. Inside of you. You argue all day long. Yeah, Jesus could be black. Look at those people that play the middle ground and say, well, it don't matter what color it is, it's all about the relationship. However, in your psyche, your actions show why. Let me see. Let's give some examples. A black woman will hold contempt in her heart and not forgive a black man and be bitter and take the next black man and the next black man through it. Her enemy to shoot her child down. Street, lock her man up. And what she'll do, she'll get on TV and forgive him. With sincerity. But you can't forget your own people, your own men, to protect you. Not a quarter of the evil that you will forgive. But your God told you to do that. Didn't he?
Yeah,
your God told you to do this.
Yeah.
And we wonder why we lose it. What are we going to do about concessions and racism? Well, first of all, you need to sit down at the table and renegotiate terms with your God. Contend with these things when your God told you not to fight. He told you not to think. He told you not to fight. You wonder why you keep getting shitted on. It's insanity for what it really is. What's the definition of insanity? When you keep doing the same thing over and over, looking for different results. Church for how long, good brother? When I was a child, I'm 44 years old. When I was a child, I always heard Jesus is coming back soon. Jesus is coming back soon. In a blink of eye, in a moment, Jesus is coming back soon. We in the last days. 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 44. Caught up. Didn't even realize they was already caught up. Caught up in what? It's a hustle. And that's why I say, yeah, prove me wrong. But not people. Those are not the people who I want to argue with. And I'm not even going to argue with these preachers who I really want to be in the presence of. Because they're the ones that are victimizing my people. Problem with it. I'm mad at my people. I love my black people. I love my black women. I do. Hard. But they just as much of a problem. Actually, black women are more of a problem than they realize. And they are worse because you sleeping with the sympathizer of your enemy. All in the name of your God. Now get into that. Get into that. Don't let me do all the talking, Lance. Get into that. Cause like really, and whoever on the line, like I really need to make me understand this.
Yeah.
Black men. There are black men who are conscious. And they will compromise integrity. Them the niggas you see in church. They mad from the time they walk in the door till they leave. Half of them sleep. They get up and leave. They the ones hanging out in the vestibule of the bathroom. They don't want to be there. They're only there to appease that woman.
You're right.
Because she a sympathizer to your enemy. Because that's what she really wants to. It's in her to be that way.
But this runs so deep, man. This runs so deep because as you're speaking, I have so many visuals, not just of theoretical, but actual people. So I'm sitting here, I'm seeing people that I know. And this is wonderful how we're connected, you know, especially as black people. The world may say we are. We have that way of communicating, that something on a psychic level, something on something above. And the church really is the hub. Oh, you all are complaining and blaming. No. When you go to the doctor to find out why you have this pain, and you don't know why, what are you going to do? Sit there and be in denial and stay sick? An assessment to get his opinion because he studied and he should know these things, even though you go and get a second and third opinion. Break it down and dissect it so you can make the situation well. Look at the church. the black church, and well, we've been in a dysfunctional situation in that place, and it's totally dysfunctional. Because
you in a dysfunction.
Well, let me just say, any righteous situation in creation is self-correcting. If you put the proper conditions around it, we don't know how to heal a cut. All we know, keep it clean again, cover it, keep it from getting infected, and it'll take care. When we plant something, we take seeds, we put it in the soil, we keep it watered and moist, we make sure where those seeds are, that sunlight and the warmth of the sun warms that soil up toward where the warmth is when that seed breaks. We don't know the way inside. Science has brought us to it a little closer, but we really don't know. Anything in nature is self-healing. So how the hell is a black church going to be self-healing? What it is, that's wrong. And so if we can't, we're not doctors to know, right? But we can tell the doctor the symptoms. And what you're breaking down is what is so plain to see, the symptoms. When you said also out in the vestibule or the outside, nobody's around, they're smoking their cigarette. But then again, I'm not playing the blame game, because it's a catch-22, and it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? I'm blaming sisters, but here's another condition in the church, right? We have sisters who are waiting on their Boaz. They're waiting on that God-given one. And, at nighttime, phone book that we use when the fingers do the walking. And we get tired of that. We get tired of that battery-operated boyfriend. Hold on to you. You want somebody to whisper something in your ear, not just on a sexual level, but you want a man who's working towards something to secure you. Come down to going out there. And in this world, we need money. Yes, money. But yes, that's a factor in there. You want your own champion. You want to know it after he tore that thing up righteously, and just say, damn, get up and go to work tomorrow. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Melt and makes you want to give it up to him more. Give him that heaven on earth. We want that so bad. I'm not saying we like I'm a woman. I'm saying we. I'm just talking with the women now. Right. That we think we can extract that righteous thing out of that wayward man or that incomplete man. We know he's incomplete. There's no man that's perfect. We know these brothers, some of them are incomplete. We know and look the other way when we see little things, the red flags, we knock them down. Because we want to have it. So the whole thing where, mommy, are the cookies ready yet? No, it takes 5 more minutes. We want to take them out in 2 minutes. Not done the way it should be. It's not proper. It's not ready. So we have a lot of sisters who, man, on his breath a little bit, may meet a nice man who just left his job or lost his job. And, he was working. I think he's just drinking because he's stressed a little bit. He was on the corner with the crack dealer, but he went to school with him. That's why he hung out on the corner with him, talking a little too long. They kept shaking hands, and he kept putting his hand in his pocket. Money. So we take these men, and we feel that we can something that needs to be done naturally and from the inside of that man. Life when I started to have my children, my daughters, I said, you know what? I don't want them to see me a certain way. I'll only wear sneakers in the park. I want them to see me with a blazer. And sometimes, Daddy, why are you dressing up to go food shopping? Putting these things on. No, I wanted them to see me a certain way. So when a man approaches them and dressed up in your athletic gear on the weekend, But if that's all you have, and I'm not being judgmental, I wanted them to see a man. I believed, and it wasn't just about clothes, because we got shysters who have nice clothes on. It's one part of it. Psyche in a righteous way, since I have their mind first. But so many of our sisters, you know, let me just say, and I'm gonna finish up. I'll give it back to you, but give the ball back to you.
Now, you want to touch that? Because I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. Come on, give me some.
That's partly my mission. Like, I really want to talk to the women.
Yeah.
More so than anything. And it's a reason behind it. And not to say that I don't want to talk to the men or address the men, but tend to gravitate towards knowledge, logic, rationale. By the universe, this is how we're wired up. This is how we're built. Mm-hmm. This is how we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I'm about to give you to its core the answer for all those things about the women. Right. And I'm just going to say this to the women right now who are listening. Taking the defensive posture with me, man. Right. Open your mind and listen. And try to. It's hard for people to do this, but try to take yourself outside of yourself. And see how you fit in. Women, black women, I'll just say black women, you know, all lives matter. That's cool. I can't worry about everybody. I got to worry about my people right now because other people ain't worried about us. So these are my concerns.
Right.
Black women, emotionally, for a reason. By nature, they're nurturers. Mm-hmm. By nature, they shouldn't be doing any of the things that they have to do in the society.
Agreed.
This is part of the reason of the problem. The correct evolution of who we were, she did all kinds of things. She could take her place in whatever her course of life is. By default, she is created to be a nurturer. Why? Because everything in life is created through the feminine principle, the human form, the human aspect.
Most definitely.
So in order for a woman to nurture a child and painstakingly do the things that she do for a child, she would have to be the relationship between a child and a mother is completely different than the child and the father. Fired up the same way. The father doesn't have the intimate relationship in the beginning with the child that the mother does because the mother carried it. Mm-hmm. It's formed in her. Women are so important because we need to deal with this issue of spirituality and stop looking at it only based off your religiosity. This is where a higher consciousness of thought is very important. And so the spiritual life has everything to do with just like when you shake after you pee, you brush your teeth, you spit, your spiritual life goes on. If you're not conscious and paying attention to who you're around, what you putting in you, what's jumping in you, it's been proven that no one is born gay. But then I say, and from a different perspective, why? Man, if you don't know who is around you and what's been jumping on them and what's jumping on you, you don't know what you're putting in your child. And it's coming out born already. The unconsciousness of the mother. Because she's not conscious of she's not conscious of the men she's dealing with and who he's been with prior to. Because it's already been proven when you have sexual contact with a woman, intermingling and mixing bodily fluids, but also on the spiritual plane. These shit jumping off on it, I keep myself very guarded. My circle was very small. 7 days a week, I'm by myself, about 5. Why? Because I know people who ain't conscious and they ain't right, whether they know it or not. Or because women are wired, they were the target. The Which is why they are the majority of the members of the church. You can't play on a rational dude like that. Because she's emotional by nature. Deal with logic. They don't deal with rationale. Everything is emotional with them. It's based on their feelings because that's how they're wired. You get into an argument with a woman, she's not going to sit down. She's not going to put no logic on the table. Her whole argument is about how you made her feel. Think about it. With your woman, well, I acted that way because I felt like you was insensitive. Well, I felt like you didn't care. Well, I feel like it's about her feelings because that is how she's wired. Mm-hmm. And she's only supposed to be doing certain things because she is a nurturer by nature. But when your nature has been reversed, the individual that you're supposed to be dependent upon, now you want to be independent of the very thing that she wants, she hates. She damned. They're not. She want a good man. A lot of them get good men. No way. Why? Because of that 1 or 2%, that 1 or 2 different things that ain't good about them. You know, listening to what you were saying, you were saying, well, yeah, I could change them, and they do. I'm trying to change them. Because there's something that I noticed in black women. Very terrible spirit of entitlement right now. They want things to be a certain way. They feel like they're entitled. So how they are.
And understand that we're not saying 100% in everybody.
But it's not in everybody.
No, I'm not saying to you. I'm saying to people who are listening, because there will be some people who take it out of context and say, look at them, they're bashing women. No, I know that. We're having an in-house discussion, and we're just being brutally honest. And this is not everybody. And too many. Yeah.
I put this on the table, and I had these situations with women, and I find myself having these conversations with women, and they'll say, well, it ain't me. It's not me. I'm doing something different. This is what I'll say. And this is just real, and you can't refute this. Law of averages. Can we agree on this? That you cannot argue with the law of averages. Mm-hmm. So, first, so all the women that are listening can understand. Black men, we are messed up. We fucked up, straight up. Mm-hmm. Excuse my French for people, but I bring it this way passionate. This is tough love. We can't play around no more. I need you to understand how serious this is. Black men, we are screwed up. I'm the first to say it. Problem. Now I'm doing everything to be a part of the solution. But if you look at the law of averages, I'm in the 1 to 5 percentile. Yeah. Average it out. We're screwed up, right? That means I got work to do. So it's like I tell these women, okay, so it might not be you individually. However, y'all are in the 1 to 2 percentile of women that don't think like that. But the rest of them now average it out. Let's just keep it real. The stock for black women is low. Very low. With it. If it ain't you, it means you got work to do. Mm-hmm. I'm not bashing women. I love black women. The black woman is God. Did you not hear me say that? I'm not saying that as a cliche. This is fact. I worship the black woman. They ain't at her right now. She doesn't realize she's more of the problem. And there's a reason why. And it's called accountability. And I'm going to take it from the point of civil rights and keep it. People, and we know, and when I say people, I'm talking about white folks. I don't want to have to keep saying white folks. When I'm saying people, I'm talking about white people. Created and made careers of creating a platform or a paradigm for women to bash men. It's big. Oh, men versus women, men versus women, men versus women. Mm-hmm. Men from Mars, women from Venus. Men are bad. Men are dogs. Whoopie-woo-woo. It's always a platform to beat down the men. Never been a platform accountability for themselves. So we go, since they like to be biblical, we'll take it to a biblical sense, and I'll teach you the truth about what this metaphor is. When they say that you spare the rod, you spoil the child, this applies to everything and everybody in life at every stage in life. It's a metaphor. It's to say that, yo, if you don't check that shit, that person will evolve and think that there is nothing wrong with what they're doing because no one's never checked it. So when I hear a person say, can nobody judge me with God? You's a damn lie. God don't never check no damn body. So I'm checking you because it's chess, not checkers. Oh. That's another problem with the religion. It takes accountability away from the individual. I don't got to be accountable for what I do. God put it in his hands, ask for forgiveness, and I'm cool. Fuck whatever happened to the other person and what you did and all the dust that you done kicked up. I'm good now. Say you got it straight. No accountability. Generations. It's been centuries. It's been decades and decades of black women held as the victim. I tell them, miss me with that victim shit, yo. I'm just overrated. Why? Because in one breath you hear black women say, I'm strong, I'm independent. And for shit. But then when you turn around and approach them about their attitude, the spirit of entitlement, their lack of interest in their culture, and repairing the family, they'll say it's the black man's fault. Well, last time I checked, if you blame anybody for the things that you do, that is not a sign of strength, that's a sign of weakness. Say the reason why you can't control your tongue with your man because of what he do, that's not a sign of strength, that's a sign of weakness. That shows a lack of discipline. From a place of contradiction. Because no matter what a person want to say, a religion, whether you participated in it or not, if you have been exposed to it, your family been exposed to it, it shapes morality. Why? Because a religion was based on no morality. But you don't know this because you ain't never did no research on where this came from. And when you realize that it came from an immoral people, what do you expect? They knew they can't just sucker the black men like that. They got to do other things to us. But for them, because they're emotionally wired, you play on a woman's emotions, how pimps can do it. They get in a psyche. Anyway. So you got these women, they upset, they mad, they bitter. And reverse their nature from slavery on. It's not the black man's fault. But it is our fault now. At this point, no one gets a pass. Too much knowledge, too much information, too many resources, too many people walking around with degrees and all types of this, and I'm this level in this organization, in this lodge.
Pushing the chest out.
Walking around doing the silly ass shit that they do. Seriously. No one gets the pass for this. The elders, we talking like in their 60s, 70s and on up, because they come from a different time, and it was only certain information in circulation. It was only a certain amount of resources they could get. So I expect them to think a certain way. Because the religion was implanted in them. That, they can't stand, they hate white people. They'll tell you they hate white people. They should. But they still hold on to Jesus because that's all they know. You catch him at 80 years old, try to convince him of anything else, he ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah, because they have to uproot everything all these years and realize they'll get violent towards you. I don't mean violent.
Oh yeah, you just ain't gonna tell them they ain't real. I'm
such a nerve.
You could put all the facts on the table in front of them, and they will agree with you on disputing everything. Nobody in the Bible could exist, but don't touch Jesus. But I understand why. And you have to give them a pass. That's that. When everybody in college, everybody going to school, online, everybody gets some education. You have the capability or the drive to do that for the purpose of chasing the dollar. Enough drive, even a little bit. The dude has had a faith of a mustard seed to please God, right? 5 minutes out of your day and just looking at something who you are by nature, not by what you are. So these black women should have been reversed, now been changed. And because of their ignorance and not paying attention to what's going on, they easily got sucked into a game they own men. So the very thing that they want, they actually hate. So they say, I was in a situation, I dated a woman that was in the church. On her, she told me she didn't need no man. She had Jesus and she was cool with it. 10 minutes. Like for real. And as I got to know her, I realized she had been through like 2-3 marriages. Keep blaming men, but I'm like, listen, it's not a conspiracy, y'all. Rather have a men's seminar be like, yo, who you date? All right, I'm gonna go shit on her too. Like niggas don't know each other do this. It's not a coincidence. If you keep coming into the same type of situations with different men, it's not a conspiracy. It's you. Be good, bad, and indifferent. Take accountability, whatever it is. Whether it's you're too nice, you give too much of yourself, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. But you got to ask yourself, yo, if I keep finding myself in the same situation with different people, there's got to be something about me. And this is what women do. Why? Because they ain't never been checked. In decades now, taking accountability. That the only reason why they do what they do and act the way that they act is because black men is fucked up. And as soon as black men get right, I will too. Men get right, and they won't. Because number one, get right means, yo, you gotta leave that silly ass religion alone. You visit, go back to it later. You need to find out who you are first and get in your right place by nature. It'll work. Until then, it's not. If God don't look like you, it ain't like your nature, it's a problem. It ain't never going to work. So you got a bunch of Africans with a Caucasian brain, wondering why they can't win. It's like having a Mercedes-Benz third engine in the job. What do you think is going to happen? So until black women decide to sit down and stop pointing fingers, it's never going to stop. And as long as the church, I don't know this dude, T.D. Jakes. I think I'm smart enough to theorize his career and figure it out. I'm quite sure he was a fire and brimstone preacher. Put a little tithes and offering messages in there, keep the money flowing. But it wasn't enough. I don't know this man, but I'm telling you, I promise you, I'm almost positive to the T. This is how it came about. And he gonna tell you it was a move of God. Because God ain't never talked to nobody. Anybody really know God? Give me his email address. Tom call me because I really got some things I want to know. I know God ain't telling this. It's called reinventing yourself. I'm an artist. This is what they do. I'm gonna give you an example with him. TD Jakes, and then I'm gonna give you an example of a popular artist and show you what I mean. It's a hustle, and it's all about marketing and getting money. And TD Jakes, yeah, he's probably the brimstone, fire brimstone. You don't get your life right, you going to hell. Man, that's not really putting him on the level where he want to be. Why? Because everybody preaches that. I look at his congregation, he's like, yo, 25% women in here only. What does he come up with? I got to find something. It's the women. We cater to the women, and my membership going to grow. So what happens? He becomes the potter. Back together again. And he preys on the vulnerability of the women. All the emotional things that they're going through. He talking right to me, girl. And it spread like that, and he blew up. If you think I'm playing, we'll take it out of religion. Let's take it to rap. 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz. When I first heard about 2 Chainz, his name wasn't 2 Chainz. His name was Titty Boy. It's not a secret. It's public information. His name was Titty Boy. Listen to people that think these rappers just get on overnight. This nigga been in the game for almost a decade or more. Shit didn't work. So he reinvented himself. Go listen to a rapper's music. I don't care what he's saying. He's making no sense and it equates to absolutely no substance.
Right.
So I go find his interview so I can see, is he really dumb as shit or is he intelligent playing dumb as shit? And a lot of these dudes are very intelligent playing dumb as shit to get paid. To reinvent himself, a preacher can reinvent himself also. You tell me this ain't a game, in a room with him. Because I ain't going to play with him. I'll come right as, look, nigga, go ahead with that shit. Keep it real with me. I don't care about your hustle. Let the cars fall where they fall. Because you keep sitting in the pulpit talking about how we're supposed to repair the family, but damn it, nigga, you keeping the women away from their men. Mine. And she waiting for something that never existed to send her something. And the very something that she wants is also the thing that she hates. She fucked up in the head. And it's not her fault. But I need her to understand this. Take some self-accountability. Find out what she can do. Why? Is it important for her? She the one raising our children. Because we fucked up. Either. There's a reason behind that. It has everything to do with the evolution. We understand the story of white people and where they evolved from. Women, all they did was turn us into what they evolved from. You think a black man don't want to be with his woman? He wouldn't be with her if he didn't, even in her flaws. Sex with her, why? Because he really wants to. That's that energy. That's what we're supposed to do by nature. He said, now she's pregnant. He like, shh. Because now, it's hard. Certain things to put himself in a certain position to be able to take care of himself and her and that child. Now he's disdained. He's upset. Because now he got to go out here and contend so that he can try to feed. Upset. Well, white man felt the same way about his woman. Because in his beginning of his evolution, survived too. All they did was turn us into them. Women pulled our women into the feminist movement. We have I could do bad by myself. Why? Because the very same person that said he ain't going to give you a job gave her a job. she traded in her queenship to be a bed wench. For you to go to college, black woman, to get an education and go into corporate America? No, I'm not saying that. Only if you're doing it from the correct perspective. Get these skills and frequencies to do your own thing. But I get it. It's exactly that. It's a program, and it keeps going on, and we teach it. Why you get these opportunities is because they know what you're not going to do. They reverse you so that you be independent from your man. They know you're not going to go home and lift him up. That's why they give it to you. What takes? What you getting from them and come home and uplift your man, you be out here screaming just like us. And you damn sure won't be talking to Jesus, but you talk to Jesus. Why? Because you think Jesus gave you that job.
Sorry about that. I get alerts.
No,
I get alerts that get off on my phone and.
They ain't right. You're gonna go with, and especially with women, because they're emotional. They want to feel secure.
Mm-hmm.
They want to feel. They want that wholeness. I'm gonna say that wholeness is in their religion, in their God, in their Jesus.
And they'll turn around and say that I don't need a man.
Yeah.
I'm married to Jesus.
I'm married to Jesus.
Well, who are they thinking about when they're masturbating at night?
Listen, let me tell you something. I had sex with a woman and she called out Jesus' name while we was having sex, and I said, yo, I really feel offended. He's making you feel like this right now. Like, let's keep this real. I'm doing the work.
Oh.
I know the man's name. Kind of way about you right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Or I see women that say, Jesus, heal my body, and then get up and go take like 8 medications. The fuck you mean? Well, I gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Meanwhile, you tearing your body up taking them drugs. Why do they not understand this? Because I told you yesterday, they mindless people. They asked to be mindless. Told them not to think. Listen, please, get at me. The answer to your problem is, number 1, accountability. And 2, you really got to take a self-examination with yourself. Remember who you are? No. That's why y'all had the problems that y'all had. Click. Like I said, I know brothers that are conscious, that know this. For the sake of keeping a woman where they say a happy wife's a happy life. But I'm going to tell you something. The only book in the Bible that's even worth reading, and they stole this from my ancestors, is Proverbs. Practical life. Brothers, they go through it. Listen. One of my favorite proverbs is a scripture in there that talks about it is better for a man to live in a hole in the wall with a quarrelous woman, with a quarrelsome woman. Real. Let me tell you. Peace of mind. And to be in a mansion with a woman, y'all, they just.
No,
but it's only because she's not in her natural state. In your natural state, hey, you're susceptible to anything and everything. Easy way to pull them into. Why? You're in the emotional state. Then you get the women preachers, which number 1 is anti-Bible because women ain't supposed to be preaching. That bill wants to tell you, that there's something wrong with that religion when motherfuckers can just come out of nowhere and change up the rules. And you have the audacity to say that, well, then they must be God. They're bigger than God, that they can change something. Because last time I checked, a woman ain't supposed to be saying shit. If she want to know anything, say, go home and ask your husband. And if you ain't got a husband, I guess you got to wait. Up in the pulpit. How did this happen?
Somebody's getting angry with you, bro. Somebody's listening and saying this.
Listen, but it's the truth. They went from, you couldn't wear pants. Look, I come from a generation, women weren't allowed to wear pants in church. Short, skirt, all types of nonsense. I've seen the videos. They twerking in church.
You're right about that.
Yo, explain this. This is what you want people to say, yo, and take you serious when you talk about this of the Lord, but then I look at what's going on in your sanctuary. I look at how you say you ain't got nothing to do with the world, but you take everything in the world and then you just throw Jesus on top of it and it's cool. Gradually happen because it doesn't start big.
Gradual deterioration.
Gradual progression. Yes, it has to be a progression to this. I've seen it back in the 80s. Who grew, took a popular R&B or a secular song and turned it into a gospel song, and they were just as popular. Do you remember the Mighty Clouds of Joy?
Oh yeah.
Now they didn't write that shit first. That was an R&B record. Bitch, and all I kept hearing was, when we listening to that carnal music, that's the shit of the world. And then all of a sudden, because some niggas that say they singing for the Lord, they take the devil song and they turn it into a Jesus song. And now, so when Eddie Murphy asked how long was, how much it cost to turn his white only pie to a nigga pie, that's it right there. And he did it. And the progression kept going. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more things became accepted. Over this time, you didn't see homosexual people just walking around out in the open in certain cases, but definitely not in the South. Absolutely not.
Oh, look,
taboo.
Let me just add into something. Right now in Orlando, we are invaded by the bears. For those who don't know who the bears are, these are husky, overweight, let's just say it, big and smelly and musty, just big gay guys. And they've found themselves in Orlando. They find themselves in Orlando every year. I don't know if this goes on anywhere else, but they come from all over the country and all over the world. They're all over the place, but mainly in the tourist sector. And they have dominated. I mean, they book out like all the big hotels in Disney, 85, 90% occupancy. And I'm talking about, these are some big dudes, man. I mean, the big truck driver, fat type, smelly, hairy, and they hugged up. And all I'm saying is this, right? You have families who come from like Britain. They work hard all year and they book their vacation, and here they are around the pool with their kids, sons, daughters. And then here come the bears. Big men, 350 pounds, 300 pounds, 250 pounds, not necessarily in the best of shape, usually not in any kind of shape. Tonguing each other down, feeling each other up around the pool. And these families like, listen, our kids are here. What's up with that? And this being Orlando, I mean, well, that spirit has taken over this place anyway, more so. But it's almost like you can't say anything. Whatever they want that way. And I mean, come on now. It's off the chain.
Why though? You understand why?
Yeah.
It's going on everywhere. We have an actual neighborhood in our city in Philadelphia. If you go past Broad Street going towards 13th Street, I think it's like 4 or 5 block radius and across.
Broad Street, huh?
Other side of Broad. If you come down Broad Street, right in center
Broad
city.
Street anyway is always something decadent. You ever notice that? Any city you go to, Broad Street is like, if it's not on Broad Street, it's across Broad Street or near Broad Street in that direction when you say it. And go over by Broad Street. Broad Street or Market Street. It's always like that.
Yeah. The area where this is at, and it's called the neighborhood. We call it the neighborhood.
neighborhood.
No. It's actually referred to now as a neighborhood. If you go read articles, you know what I'm saying, about this area in any type of Philadelphia newspaper, this is what is referred to. And you know when you're there because when you look at the street signs, it's time.
But look, if you're doing this behind closed doors, that's on you. Why are you putting this? Why are you shoving this? Even on a heterosexual level, the act of sex, regardless of these guys who, yeah, man, I was in it for 10 hours. I was in it for 3 days. I was in, for the most part, that long. Really, really, really. I mean, the actual get down to it and whatever. It ain't that good because you're not feeling nothing to last that long, right? But for these people, why is it a thing where they must, with a lot of gay men, especially gay white men, they love them some sisters because they want to beat them so much. And it's like, mad that you can't get pregnant. Is their science going to wickedly turn something around to push something in a man's stomach and say, oh, yes, you're not ever going to be a woman. A black woman. There's no white man in this planet who can say mother of all civilization. A fairy queen in all civilization. But they want what we have so badly. They want to strip it away from us. It's like what Paul Mooney said, if we get knocked down the road and we're roadkill, there'll be some car full of white folks, get those nigger lips. Oh, get that nigger dick. I want to put that on me. We lewd and say words. We're just talking for real tonight.
Right.
And it's like, we can't have a damn thing.
Well, absolutely. Well,
Trust me, 50 years from now, you're going to have a gay white man playing Cleopatra. And half the people going to believe it. Yeah. Cleopatra was a gay white man.
Yeah, that's about right. But that's their culture. That's their culture.
Right.
And this is where the problem comes in. So I look at that whole homosexuality issue from two different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no perspective because that ain't African. So I'll say that black people that are gay, I'm not the only one that feel this. I just recently heard Dr. Umar Johnson stress this, and it's I listen to these master teachers, and I'll be like, I wish I could be in the same room to let them know, yo, you are not alone.
I'm going to get some water really quick. Keep talking. I'm going to get my little bottle of water. My lips are dry. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
I think that we need to understand that certain things that we do or that we're participating in, that we're condoning or continuously perpetuating are not things our culture, but it's other people's nature. And in order for them to feel comfortable, they got to get everybody in on it. This is why it's being pushed the way that it's being pushed. Like I said, when we were younger, this was not going on. Not to the degree that it is now. It's always been on. It was around. It was taboo in our communities. It started to become place. And now it is considered the norm. It's now being put up in the standard as the norm to say that of the natural or male, female that produces life, they're putting that at the same standard to say that is an equality. And it's not. And that's the problem. What you do behind closed doors is exactly right. It is what you do behind closed doors. And I have no problem with people doing that. I'm not bashing homosexuals in any kind of way. I'm not condoning it either. I do not support it in no kind of way. And in no way would I say that this is something natural for African people. Now, for Caucasian people, it is. And it is not taboo with them. It is their culture. All you have to do is go look at their history and you'll see this. They show you this, and they continue to show you this. Pulled into it. It has to stop. It has to stop. We're doing how we're participating in it, how it's corrupting. The idea of going on YouTube and looking at footage of young dressed like girls twerking. That's sad. I never thought I would even see a day of this, that it would come to this. And it's being pacified in the church. Like, it's out of control. Don't know what to do because we don't understand that things come from someone else's culture, and this culture has dictated who we are, how we exist, and how we interact with each other. Now it's become commonplace. Now you have young black women to be gay because it's popular. It's what's trending. It's what's cool. But that's not how you got here. For black women, I would say it's misguidance, sexual confusion, bad information. The same for black men. You got a group of powerful people living in their lower self and can't get beyond it, and think that their religion is taking them out of it, but don't understand that their religion is actually keeping them trapped here. African people ain't supposed to be homosexuals, and that's just that. And anybody that can prove to me that that's what we were and we always been, whole perspective, can prove that. I'm going to prove that. Certain people came over and saw exactly what the dynamics were between black men and black women. It was God. The queen stood right next to the king. That was an unfamiliar sight for white men. They couldn't live with that. In the first show, their culture clashed with everybody's culture that they came in contact with. So they removed the woman out of the Trinity. Her natural divinity away from her. But she keep looking for God and don't even know she's looking for herself. And this is where the problem comes in.
But see, that's the ultimate compliment. We're saying that she is. And we just wish that she would take her rightful place and understand who she is and how important she is.
A woman that's blasphemy for the for the, or what we say, ratchet or the ignorant black woman, but it comes from a place of entitlement, and that's how you're supposed to treat me. Not that way. It's not that way. It's like a lot of women call themselves queens. By default, you don't deserve that title. Not in the state that you're in. Even for a black man to call himself a king. I couldn't call myself a king for a long time. Because I wasn't walking nowhere near in that light. Even in all the information and the knowledge that I was acquiring, I still wasn't there. You can have knowledge. That don't mean you conscious. There's a difference. I ain't into this whole conscious community whole thing, like all that. I ain't in no community. I'm an African. That's the problem. taken away from you. This is all you do. You fight to find an identity. Black women find her identity in church. Black men find his identity in all different types of things. We as a people ourselves as something because we don't know who we are. We keep trying to fill this void within ourselves and don't realize the void that's missing is the fact that you're not in your right African mind. You have no idea who you are. You don't know by default that the earth is yours and everything in it. They told you it was God's. Well, who is God? That's the whole thing. The earth and all that's in it. It's not algebra, y'all. This is just basic math. Add, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And I challenge any black woman, especially these empowering speakers, these inspirational speakers. I challenge them. I challenge them. Prove me wrong with what I'm saying. I came up in a family of women. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. I got a bunch of aunts and sisters. I think I'm pretty much well-versed in understanding the nature of women. And I had daughters.
Go.
Very well-versed in how they are wired and how they think. I explain to a lot of my brothers, they go through a lot of arguments with their women, and I'll be like, yo, first of all, you need to understand something about women. There's one thing that they don't got in their tool belt that you have. Like logic. But that ain't their job to do that. The knowledge. The woman has the wisdom to nurture it. Understanding. What do you see in the child? The understanding of yourself all over again. All of this was taken away and replaced with some nonsense. Certain people, it was completely different from everybody else. And their culture, their nature clashed with everything and everybody else. It clashes with the whole planet. I mean, you got to ask yourself something. People that the very thing that makes everything live and everybody feeds off of is their kryptonite. These are the same people that can heartlessly do all types of manner of evil against you. And you don't recognize that opposite, everything in the universe has an even balance, is a polar opposite. But that compassion, that natural African nurturing compassion and love in her has been, that's why she got compassion. And his perversion and everything that comes with it. So who sympathizes with the homosexuality in the black community? The black woman. This is true. Prove me wrong. Will argue this down, and these are the ones that will accept you in church and say it's okay. The Lord will take you just the way that you are. Fact? Because I've seen it my whole life. Because if the church had a problem with it, yo, they'd have got Twine. He wouldn't be directing the choir or playing the piano. Early. I used to ask, like, damn, don't niggas know this nigga gay? Like, am I the only motherfucker in church that realize, yo, this nigga is gay and ain't nobody saying nothing about it? Okay, he just a little.
Yeah, I heard. He's sophisticated.
He different.
He's sophisticated.
But the Lord still love him. The Lord do, because they don't know who the Lord is in the Bible. There's two gods in the Bible, and niggas don't even know this. They notice they make references to God and they make references to the Lord. The story. The Lord in the Bible ain't the Lord in the sky. It's the oppressor. The ruler and authority. The Lord do love it. Why not? Why? Because that's his culture. But they don't do nothing. All they gotta do is cut a check. Something should tell you. Not to get off subject, but it's on subject, and I'm gonna show you how they all connect. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at this whole issue with Africa being bothered.
Oh, let's talk about it.
In the church. Why?
Mm-hmm.
I believe those men are in place in our neighborhoods, in our families. Religion, you ain't allowed to take I know you heard this. You ain't supposed to take a child of God to court.
Yeah,
you don't take church members to court. So a whole lot of shit gets swept under the rug. Place in our communities, in our neighborhoods,
and nobody wants to talk about it.
You want to talk about it? Absolutely not. No one wants to deal with this, but this has been going on. Now, I'm not saying this to bash the man Africa being bothered. I don't know him.
Right.
Allegedly. But I would have to say, yo, I believe these men. Mm-hmm. This is not a conspiracy. This is something that has been going on in our communities. And it resonated in me. And my sister were a victim of this type of thing. And it was a family member because this went on for a long, long time. Right. And that's why I say, yeah, a lot of these dudes is victims.
And I feel for them.
And what happens in the church? Nothing. They get swept under the rug. We're going to pray about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're going to pray about it. But why God ain't tell you ahead of time? Because God know everything ahead of time. Everything is preordained. So it was like, yo, it's light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm like, damn, I love you so much. Why do you have to suffer so much to get ever is supposed to be so great around the corner that it's like that nigga to be like, yo, let me hold $5 until tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes.
Let me tell you, I have to say this part. You know, I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to get too detailed, but I knew a situation very close, not my family, but now I'll just say it. And the father ran through 90% of the kids, a lot of kids. He ran through them.
Wow.
Yeah. And was a holy roller, a Pentecostal, very nice lady, nice, but there, you know, when you can know these things. She was dressed in all white. I know I might get a phone call, get cussed out. Why you put my business out there? But everybody already knows it. It's a go. I'm not putting anybody's business out there because we have to start somewhere. And on the other hand, I mean, she was always an impeccable white. Time I was around, it wasn't going on because they were older, but they would share with me the stories of what happened. And there was one of the sons that wasn't, and he would tell me, you know, do different things like that. And growing up, they were in church. I mean, they were living up in that bad boy. But all of them got older, but the mother, she used to stay in her room of the white Jesus all over the room, and every square inch was covered with pages out of the Bible. I mean, if you pulled the bed back down all around even over the molding floor and walked over the ceiling, the walls, and she had a little prayer area, and she'd sit up in the bed. She had on all white. She always wore white. I mean, I don't know how she got this outfit so white. If it was pitch black, you'd see her. She'd glow. And she was a very nice lady. She was always talking stuff, you know. But there was hell going on rooms in the house. And even the uncle would come around, and he didn't like me too tough because he was digging on my old girlfriend, and he didn't like me too tough, and he was always checking her out. Not like she would say what he used to do, but you can still see that thing in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Even I'm gonna say it too. I'm it's like pulling out a string, off of a garment. Even the church that they went to, I wouldn't lie about this. It was really only the mother now, because the kids that were in their early 20s and late teens, they really sometimes, but check this out. Check out how sick this was. And I have to tell it. The pastor of the church that the mother went to, the mother whose kids were molested by her husband, who really wasn't a churchgoer, pastor, most often, if the service was going to be on Sunday morning, let's just make up a number and say Sunday morning at 9 or 10 or 11. There, Sunday morning, to see one of my girlfriends. So while the mother was downstairs with the Jesus pictures on the wall, pages pasted up on the wall, because I was on the front enclosed porch trying to get me some. 17, 18 years old, what you expect? But lots of times he would come in upstairs, the room over where the mother is. She'd come down. Oh, he's going to come over. Just, it's going to be him. Door come open real slow. And he looked, the festivities on my side were already over. And so we were all hugged up, sitting on the couch, little TV out there, gold teeth, Jerry curls. How you doing, brother? Listen, my car's parked around the corner. Here's a couple dollars, just every now and then. I won't be that long. Translation, that was hush money. This man's car, nobody was out there in South Jamaica, Queens, that time of night. This is pre-crack. It was relatively safe. Nobody was doing anything. You can hear, the mattress, sometimes the bumping. What it is, the mother would come out of the room. Keep that noise down. We're trying to get up in the morning to go to service. And I can only imagine the pastor saying, keep that noise down. Up in your daughter. And he'd tip out. I saw this with my own eyes. I'm so tempted to say the name, but there's a lot of family that the pastor had and called. And I wouldn't want to,
He's not worthy of the energy. He's not worthy.
Exactly. But look how this thing has come full circle. The daughter that he was seeing, girlfriend would go to the club. I'll say the club too. It was on off of Foch Boulevard and Guy Brewer, and the name of it was called The Scene. Anybody who lives Foch Boulevard, Guy Brewer, I think it's still there. It was a house into a club, and it had so many add-ons that you didn't see the basic shape of the house anymore. So you just thought you drive in the parking lot and it's a club. Well, pastor was seeing, so she would go, we'd all go, and also there'll be 3 or 4 other women other than the sister who are also girlfriends of the pastor.
Wow.
And none of us drove at the time. So we'd all call a cab and pile in. Right? And they would argue about what the pastor bought them. Bought me this ring. I'm saying pastor because I'm not going to say his name. What? At cruise, and that's going to be worth more than that ring. Plus, I get to spend time with him. You know? Well, I don't know what y'all talking about. The pastor paid my rent for the next 6 months. And the one that was the sister to my old girlfriend, she's sitting up mad. Like, I ain't really get that much. I got some Chinese food a couple times. So, but what I'm saying is that we need to blow it up and talk about it. We don't talk about it. It's ultra dysfunctional, and we don't talk about it. Because they hide behind the shield of pastor. See them with God and all things godly, that even when they're mischievous, we can't even go near them because they run back behind. So they have to be God's middleman. Exactly.
It tells them that, touch not thy anointed. The preacher is protected under that. And because the people take serious, they take that serious. Fear is what keeps them trapped in that box. Mm-hmm. Fear God, fear the devil. The preacher knows this. The preacher, he's extensively trained or not, understands very easily, because this is the way the mind works, a certain psychology. If you come outside and you come around people that you don't know, you get to figure out who's weak, who's not, who's gullible, who's not, planned and plot out. And it's the same thing with them preachers. Women are attracted to men with power. Mm-hmm. And it's even better if he's nice looking, he's charismatic, like my grandfather. My grandfather was a great looking man, can sing. Yeah, they was throwing it at him, and he was taking it too. Mm-hmm. This is not a secret amongst us, but it's not a secret to the program. Again, I state this, and this is like the core, one of the core of my driving points. Mm-hmm. Anything that you will embody, truly evolve and become like the nature of the spirit of the people who created it.
Yes.
So all of the perverted misfunctions that's going on in our families, this came from a place, because it wasn't going on prior to started happening. It started somewhere. Who are victims of this? I say most, because not everybody, because I was a victim and I didn't turn out that way.
Right.
End up doing it to somebody else. And it goes on and it goes on. Mm-hmm. And it goes on so much, and no one pays attention to backtrack to find out where it starts. It's just going on. It's taboo. Can't talk about it. I watched my mother, for the protection of the reputation of basically front. I would have to say front. Like, everything was hunky-dory. Everything was cool. Like, I used to watch my parents. My father was, and I'm not, my family business out. I'm putting this out here because this is the only way I can explain it to you, because this is what I lived. This is what I saw. But my father ran his home like a tyrant. He's a short man, short in stature. You would call it the Napoleonic complex. Mm-hmm. He lived a hard life. And he ran his home with an iron fist. Mm-hmm. I used to watch him and my mother argue all the time. And I'm talking about Sunday morning, they would be in heated arguments, and my father would be making my mother cry. Arguments will go on until they pull right up into the parking space at church.
Wow.
Open, my mother became another person. And I used to think, yo, how can you do that? But this is the black woman.
Right.
by nature, she has the ability to do. Remember, again, she's wired because in order for you to be a nurturer, because this type of pain and endurance is what she would endure in childbirth and birthing her child, to do the extra things, to go the extra mile, to stay up all night to nurture that child.
Mm-hmm.
This compassion is also misplaced in the wrong type of situation in the atmosphere and is being perpetuated by us, the men. You with her and make her cry. Talking about she be crying up until the point we get into the parking space, but when the doors open and it was time to get out, lady.
That's funny. I'm not saying funny. I'm not making funny. I'm just saying.
No, it is funny. It's funny as shit because I don't understand it because I don't know how to be that way. Yo, you piss me off. You know what I mean? It's on.
Right. I don't care who's around. It's going to happen.
Me and my father actually got into it.
Wow.
I showed up at his church. I didn't care about no reputation or nothing. I was just like, yeah, we not done. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do no fraud, and I don't understand that.
You know what I hate? When people expect you to do it. They're pissed at something, they're watching you like, oh God, you better not do this. This is, especially when you get. Let me just throw this out there. Especially when you're the new ingredient of family dysfunction.
True.
When you join on to a family, in-laws or whatever, and they already have their way of march and they already have their rhythm, join on to that. And their little rules and little things that you don't do, you don't know nothing about it. You smashing them down. You like, what? See. So you can go into churches, houses of so-called worship, and it's the same thing. And there's certain things that when you come in and expect it as being normal, and it's not, man, when you ask questions, you're starting trouble. Don't go there. We know certain things. No, I'm one who clean it out. The gut full of bad food, clean it out.
Heretic if you do that.
And it begins to stink.
That's where that defensive mechanism comes in. That's why they put that in there. For people that don't know what I'm talking about, go research the Council of Nicaea, AD. This is the council, the ecumenical councils that put together the doctrines for this religion that we know as Christianity, where they created anathemization. The point was this. Listen, this is what we're establishing to be what a God is, who God's son is, whoopty whoop whoop whoop. That anybody speak against what we say, to say that he is of no worthy, he is damned forever. Being in the presence of God, he is no good. You discard him. But when you're taught that, within you, this is what happens. So it happens automatically. Something triggers off in your psyche because this has been put in your psyche. Like I said, your first image of God is white. And no matter how you argue about, Jesus could be black, whoopty woo woo, and it don't matter the color. However, that psychological, why? Because you don't fear your own people. You don't respect your own people. I hear niggas pump out and get hype on, but then when your enemy come around, you get humble. 10 minutes ago, then he come in the room and all of a sudden you humble.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with them. They get puffed up with you, get mad, cuss you all out. But then when their oppressor come around, they humble. Because they think that what they believe in empowers them, makes them look good in the sight of their oppressor. I'm safe. I'm okay. And actually, you are. They ain't worried about you. You're a Christian. You're a good slave. They're not worried about you.
A little bit.
I'm the problem. I'm the reason why they put that clause in there. Just for niggas just like me. That's what it's there for. And this is when they become defensive. I've seen black people like really be ready getting fights and arguments. I've been at church and watched people damn near getting fights over Bible study.
Yeah.
Disagreement over some shit. Neither one of them really know nothing about it. That's the crazy shit. I'll be like, yo, both of y'all dumb as shit. Y'all don't even know what y'all involved in, and y'all about to come to fisticuffs in church.
But it's ego involved, though. It's ego involved. It's like earlier when this young lady got on my bus, people on that bus, and for the time she got on, she was speaking about singing, and I could tell. But the more I heard her speaking, spoke so loud and clear and wanted the world to know. She was discussing their battle plan with different services and how they're going to sing. Really a narcissistic spirit coming out, and she wanted to dominate that bus. It was all about her, and it showed me that her so-called. It's funny because after we did the show the other morning, I'm still kind of feasting on that. And when she was saying, yes, we want to do everything perfect for the Lord this, the Lord that, Lord, it was about in front of that audience, in front of that crowd, in front of that congregation. I picked up on it. I hear words, but words don't change how I feel the vibration. And know what it is. I know what it is. I felt her loud and clear. And so many people do things based on ego. Church is a club replacement for many people. The folks on Saturday night on and popping even more so. See?
And that is so true. Yeah, that is so true that it is a replacement. I saw this in my father. Wasn't into the church. But by tradition, his family, his grandmother was like, it's the traditional black thing. Their thing, when he was explaining to me when he was growing up, their thing was on Sundays, they would go to the movie house to watch movies. Movie house, you had to go to church. So he went to church, but he was never into it. My mother grew up in church.
Right.
Holiness church, saved, sanctified, she done been slayed in the spirit, all that nonsense. Hey, matter of fact, these are the principles that she carried. So he did certain things that, they would say things of the world. He drank and all these different things. However, more so to save his relationship, his marriage. A lot of black men do. I always say this. There's always some good in it. It has to be some good in it in order for you to be attracted to it. Well, look what God did. He cleaned him up, drink no more. He probably better to his wife. That's not true. He ain't stopped him from being a tyrant. Actually, he was worse. But what happened was the things that he did, he replaced it with church. I used to see my father. I watched this. Men do this. I've seen women do this. Argument with your woman because you want to go out. But you don't want to go through all the shit she gonna take you through if you come home and be like, yo, I'm going out with the fellas. So what you do, you come home, get in an argument with her, piss her off. Now you good. You can go hang out with the fellas. My father used to do the same shit.
I heard guys say that.
My father would come home, start arguing with my mom. Church hopping, like niggas do going to the bars. It is a replacement.
You have all the elements there. Music, the entertainment, the women, the catching up of the latest gossip. in the church parking lot. Just ooh, you know, you got to hear this one. Now we got cell phones. Back then we didn't have cell phones. Phone when you were a kid and somebody, you know, in your household was really into that thing like that, all you had to do was read a book or hang out close by with your ear conversation, but you learned enough. And the kids were the ones that were like, I heard Pastor so-and-so was sleeping with so-and-so's wife. Older folks spreading the gossip. We over there with a crayons and a coloring book, we hearing some heavy stuff. Now, that wasn't really in my household because even though I came up in the church, I'm not saying it because she's my mother, but we didn't really belong to any one church. She was always singing on different places. And she was militant. My father's very militant. Like a lot of stuff they didn't go for. And I remember one time, what was this guy's name? I'll never forget it. I wanted to rip his face off. I think I was like 10 years old or something, 10, 11 years old. I was a little kid, but I was real strong. And my mother didn't go to that particular church for about 2 months. She was traveling and doing different things. Pastor Holmes at what church was that? Oh man, in Queens. Oh man, I'm gonna tell it. And so, oh, it's nice to see you back. You haven't been here for a while. What's wrong? Is this some kind of phase? And the way he said it sarcastic to her, like to make her feel guilt. But it didn't work on her. First, I said, phase. I said, be around all these men who don't like women or something. I said, because there was a lot of homosexuals in there, and maybe he was one. Because I know the pastor after him, because this was a Methodist church, and I know the pastor after him was straight up. You want is the money anyway. That's all you want. And she was like, son, just, you know, she wasn't trying to, she was giggling almost. You know, I said, I'm going to go home and tell my father, you don't talk to my mother this way. And I was my father's second in command, right? When he wasn't around. I'm a little boy, but, and then I got even more mad because I got mad. That's when I get mad, I get more mad. Like, there, you got me mad. Now I'm really mad now. That's why I don't like to get mad. I stay cool for a long time because people who know me for a long time know my temper. Intensity and string it out a little bit every day on these shows and doing all this stuff. Because listen, this is a lifesaver. If I didn't have this stuff to do, maybe I would go off a little more. That's why my hand's not so pretty. You know what I mean? Yeah. No. You know, because we get intense, it'll balloon up, and it's a force of nature. Don't know what's going on. And I was getting like that with him because at one point I was like, listen, you can stand there and look fun, because he was looking at me and not saying, he had a smirk on his face. I said, I'll wipe that smirk off your face and we can go outside. Sit down, Lance. I listened to her, but man, I said, yes, and I am a man. I am a young man. Maybe I don't belong here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I told him. And I used to see him when I got older. You know. How you doing, Pastor Holmes? Like, okay, what's up? Dare you talk to my mother that way?
Guilt is the only way they can get you saved. Yourself is the only way they can get you saved. Mm-hmm. If you are confident in yourself, or if you are secure in yourself, they can't get you saved. Mm-hmm. And people ask me, are you saved from what? What are you talking about? What am I saved from? Saved from what? Mm-hmm. I'm very comfortable in who I am. Mm-hmm. They only get you in ability only. That's why they say a person with money and with knowledge can never see God. A person with knowledge, through understanding of himself, you can't convince him that he needs something that he don't need. He already at where you trying to get with that hope. You ain't never going to get there with that hope. That's the problem. Down on him. You talk to him crazy. Well, that's in your carnal mind. Well, let's look at you. You're doing things, but you don't attribute no confidence within yourself. You say the only reason why you can do it is because of God.
Mm-hmm.
When a person don't keep coming to church, you haven't realized, yo, I don't got to go to church to accomplish things. I can do this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come back, yeah, that's the first thing you're going to do. What's the problem? Okay? You back out there in the world?
In the world. I mean,
yeah,
in the world. We all in the world. What are they talking about?
Oh, no, they're not in the world.
But
when you take that oath, original state,
but see,
you here, but you ain't here. It's like
I know,
stupid Jedi shit.
But the thing is, when they in the church, some of them bastards are in the world. Church all they want. And I know what they mean. That you out there doing stuff you ain't supposed to. You know, I saw saying, I'm not putting down just the women. I saw more sashaying when these chicks are paying their tithes and realizing, hey, there's a bunch of men in here assets when I pay these tithes. Let me go in the bathroom, make sure everything is right, and act all holy and fall out on command. They're dating some dude and fall out in the spirit because they want to convince them I'm a holy woman, but look at my ass and my titties in this little waistline when I go and walk up to pay the tithes. You got a holy freak, and you're going to get turned out at the same time and have all the worldly pleasure. You can get this, just come back to church. And like I said, and I'm going to finish that point I said before, they'll find these dudes that are incomplete. To be complete. We're never going to be perfect, but we can always get and seek perfection, even though we know we're not going to get it on this level, right? Dress up the dude. The dude might not make as much money or whatever have you. She might have it all, but she goes down and you see it, suit to show up at church. And the congregation doesn't know where this brother came from. She's been seeing him on the sly, kind of railroad this guy, marriage and being at the church. I want to know if this man has a commitment to go to church at all. Or do you love the Lord? He's not looking at, he's not thinking about no Lord. He's looking at them eyes. She's looking at them lips. Yeah. I love the Lord. so you know, because I can only be with a Christian man. See, and this is how they do. I'm gonna come back from the camera. I don't know if y'all can see me. I can only be with a Christian man and cross their legs up. You know, let them see it. Give him a little inspiration between and get into. And so he gonna talk the talk. There, now that he's taken his oath, see, to speak in tongues. He wants to speak with the tongue himself at the service somewhere where he doesn't really want to be. Hitting them up. Hey, man, what's up? Man, you know, I'm doing this church thing, y'all. That girl pussy that good? Nah, I really ain't get it yet. You know, I got a little something, but I ain't really get it yet. But that's what it's all about.
It is.
And then
even in the marriages.
But then check it out. Well, things that I already know that I've been through and seen. He's grinning and bearing it. They have their wedding date or they got married. Now he's getting what he wanted so bad and realized, wait a second, I'm living a lie. No, she's not really with that stuff. She just wanted to have me as a replacement, you know, like a donut when you get a flat tire. Donut to get you the way you want to go. So now her life, I can tell the man side of it too, but we can only talk about one side at a time. Her life to look complete, even though she knows she has something undergirding her that can't take her really where she thinks she wants to go in this cult called church. You have the next church sister who acts like she's good friends with her. Sister so-and-so, you know, I know your husband is handy, and maybe you both can come by. She don't really want them both to come by because I have a ceiling fan to hang. Friend's schedule, and she knows that friend is going to be to work on that particular Saturday. But she tells the friend, well, I'm only free this Saturday. Translation, have your man come over by himself. See? And this is how it has to start somewhere. Action follows thought. You just don't end up with the next person's wife or husband naked inside of them, down on them, in your mouth, just because, oh, boop, we bumped into each other. Excuse me. This thing, that seed been planted and growing for a long time. Name of the Lord. And I'm not knocking. I'm just saying that you're thinking about something else.
This is how a lot of these pastors get caught up when they have to go to these counselors. They do these home visits. And yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Because these women throw themselves, because you buy into it and you embody it. Now you believe the delusion. Mm-hmm. So you believe everything and of hierarchy, and that's the type of man she wants. He's secure. The reason why he got money is secure is because he got your money. Mm-hmm. But you don't see that. You ain't even paying that no attention. He's supposed to be an honorable man.
Right.
So you try to find something just like that. If you can't get him, you're going to try to find something just like that or make it that way. Mm-hmm. I always tell a woman this. If you got to go to the store and buy a dress and then take it home and re-alter it, you didn't get what the hell you wanted. You feel like, and this is a double-edged sword with them. If you feel like when you get a man, now I got to reconstruct him, I got to fix him, because I don't listen to him. I've heard this in my family. I got to dress him. I got to teach him how to dress. I got to show him how to woo, 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 as if they're the authority on things. Mm-hmm. Then I flip it around. I'll be like, well, look at you. Hanging over. Some of y'all got the booty dues. And they'll say, well, he just got to accept me the way that I am. He a man of God. He will. Mm-hmm. Why can't you in return? It goes back to what I said about this no accountability and the spirit of entitlement.
Yeah, you're right.
It's everything that they want. When they get it, they try to recreate based off of whether they live direct all the way to it or not. It is the foundation of their moral system. Mm-hmm. Because that's a contradiction. Because you got this system from a moralist people. Deal with that. Moron. It's impossible. How do you think that you can put negativity into the universe and think that you're going to get positivity back?
I don't.
God that got you fucked up is the same God that you think is going to help you. I'm not catching this.
Isn't that something?
Why are you not catching this? It goes back to what I said. These people have over that dope they taking. You know, that belief, that hope, that faith. That's a real terrible combination. Its base is ignorance.
But what you said earlier was wonderful, man, about, you know, emotional and with our sisters, you know, being wired to, you know, lean toward that. I mean, they really they seduce you and just that everybody's glowing. You're love bombed from when you first walk in the door. It's just a whole different atmosphere, especially when they're trying to get you at first being new. And they'll at the end of the service, do we have it? They know good and damn well because they had their sharks out there watching.
Yeah.
And people asking about they got their ways. Sit back. Go to a service very soon and sit way in the back. There's one church here in Orlando. Oh God. Because I'm gonna tell it the name of it. It's a Seventh-day Adventist church, and it's is it Patmos? Something Patmos or something like that. Oh, let me tell you something. Hookah Lounge. And again, I'm not just focusing on women, but that was evident to me because I'm a man. Someone invited us there, and we promised we were going to show our face, and we were doing something else that morning, and we walked on in. I could not believe it. I could not believe how open it was, seductive, not just a little bit, or I'm imagining it. Because see, you have some men who will see a woman with a nice shape. Oh, she looking at me. She checking me out. No. And it wasn't even about me. It was just that was their modus operandi from jump, no matter who was around. Just even walking through the lobby and the way they were dressed and the way they were just, they gaze and the way they were just, and I'm like, yo, what's up with it? It was like, oh, new meat. New meat. Maybe he got some money. He looks like he's well fed. He's about something. Radar up. See? And a lot of the younger guys love it. I heard them speaking about that church, and they love it. See? Yes, they are. They getting it.
Reason for that. It's a reason for that, man.
That church parking lot is banging. There's a lot of service at the service.
What did you say the name of that church was?
I believe it's Patmos. Patmos. I'm almost
Patmos.
Yeah, let's Google it. I'm gonna Google it. Patmos Seventh-day Adventist Church in Orlando. Those there that knows. Yeah, here. Look, it can't look. Patmos SDA Orlando. Yep.
Patmos, right? You know what Patmos is?
What is it?
Patmos is a city in Greece.
Oh, right.
And we all know who the Greeks are and their nature.
And what orifice they prefer. That's why they call it Greek. For those who don't know, it's anal sex.
Do you want to go there? Because I'll go there.
Yeah, go there, man. Look. It's 3:10 in the morning on the East Coast. This is the whole back. We're all adults here.
Here. Because this is why these things are going on. First of all, again, we get back into etymology again. First of all, about what love is. Because you're learning these things from a Western perspective, from language. Patmos is a place in Greece. Oh, no. Perverted. I ain't going to get deep because I'm going to tell you about their God in that Bible. Mm-hmm. And if I tell you about their God in that Bible, then you'll understand why homosexuality is accepted. Them like that right now. I don't think they're ready for that.
Man, knock the wind out of them.
We'll get there in a minute.
Show no mercy. Just boom, boom, boom. Just come with it, man.
Got it. They've been misguided by love. But understanding that a lot of this in Roman or Roman Greco mythology and their customs, these things are transferred over. And again, in the spirit of the nature of the creators, the word love has different meanings, levels to it. Not to be quoting no rappers, but there's levels to this shit. So it's 4 different versions of love. First love is called Asturgian love. It's ecstatic love. It's the love that you get when you have an orgasm. It's what you say when a nigga slip up when he have sex with a girl. He be like, oh my God, I love you. You don't really love her. He might have just met her tonight. But it was just so good when he had that orgasm. He said, I love you. Love, per se, at the moment of orgasm. And the second love is Eros love. It's spelled E-R-O-S. So S-T-O-R-G-E-O-N. For anybody that want to go look this up. Eros is beauty of sexual love. It's how a woman makes you feel when you look at her physical attributes. How she acts, how she moves. The things that attract you to her to make you get to the point of having sturgeon love. And vice versa. How you make her feel, your essence. The cologne you wear, the clothes, how you talk to her, how you move, how you touch her. This is what leads to get to the sturgeon love. Now, that all sound cool, right? 2 levels. And we're going to get to the top 2 tier levels. Changes. Mind you, this is a Roman Greco corpus. Okay? The third love is called phileo love. F-E-L-A-O.
Wait. Did you say F like in Frank?
Frank, E as in Eric, L as in love, A-O. Phileo.
So what's the word I'm thinking about that reminds me?
Things of that nature. However, no, I'm about to fuck you up.
Oh my God.
Phileo. Is also phileo also is the basis from where phileo. We call it the city of brotherly love. It's an oxymoron. It's my city, it's my home. I love it.
But
nobody love my city more than me. But the truth of the matter is, you want to know why my city is so evil? The very first temple built in my city, right at Broad Street, diagonally across the street from City Hall. This is what George Washington built. You understand these things. But phileo is man love. It's homosexual love. This is all Roman Greco. This is their words. And then the highest love, the top tier, the top shelf love is called agape.
Yeah.
A-G-A-P-E. Now, it's taught to you in the context that it is the love of God, right? It's the godly love that you're supposed to have for a person. Unconditional love. It's how agape is described in the church. Why? Because I heard it my whole life. People name their businesses over it. You go to a beauty shop, it's called agape. And what they are perpetuating. And they wonder why this shit is going on the way it's going on. Agape is the highest love in Roman Greco love. And it is the highest form of love in the Greek. And it's a young boy love.
Oh, wow.
Commonly in their culture called pederast. So when you accept the homosexuality, what do you think is going to happen next? You have to take everything with the culture and the religion. Yes, the pedophilia will come next. Think this shit is a game. This shit is not a game. Agape, a gaping. People talk about gaping sex.
Yeah.
Stretching of the anal. A gaping.
Gaping
agape.
hole. Yeah.
Thank you. Agape. Here had that shit on their car. Name their churches. Got these issues with homosexuality.
Let me just
Look
say
at what you are perpetuating.
Let me just say, behave yourself in the room, y'all. I'm trying to listen, and I'm seeing something going on. So, Queen, let me know what's up, and I'll take care of it. Because we're going to have some order here. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Things because they don't do any research. We'll research it. And I can send you to some people, some master teachers that can actually go in depth. Anybody want to get more in depth into it, you can go listen to The Irritated Genie, listen to Sarah Suit and Seti. You can listen to Polite. There's one in particular for Polite, just for the people who follow Islam, because I had these arguments with Islam, and they'd be like, well, Islam is the original religion, and all the rest of them are wrong. Nigga, you sound like a Christian. But it's Polite. It's Dr. Ali Muhammad versus Polite. It's a debate, and it's about the historical origins of Islam. So listen to the brother Polite. He'll break it down, just so that you understand. Because Muslims are Christians. I figured this out on my own. This is the reason why I walked away from it, because I'm like, damn, I'm in the same shit. Only difference is that Muslims life discipline. Niggas ain't got no discipline. But they worship and believe the same things. Because Islam came from Christianity. Black Muslims don't know this. I can't worry about what Arabs do. They are cousins removed. Why? Because the only way you can be an Arab is to be a nigga. However, because they enslaved our people first, I just don't see how I can let you back in my house. Still enslaving my people. There's no way I can let you back in my house. But we smile in these dudes' faces every day and say, my brother, my friend, you tripping. Yes, people will perish for lack of knowledge. Deep into it, you don't know what you're doing and don't know what you're perpetuating or what has been put in you that you think is actually real, but it's not. It's a program. For the purpose of doing what? One strong into docile, mindless people we have become. And all of that frustration and anger and evil that has evolved, we turn it on each other. Makes their job easy. So yeah, Patmos, absolutely. I would be surprised if he told me anything other than. The white churches, these ain't going on. Church, it don't have to. It goes on in their house because that's their culture. The Bible's being preached to them from a perspective of white supremacy.
Laced all up in it.
On white supremacy. Man, if your enemy is the one that created your religion and wrote your book and said it was God, what do you think? Like he's here talking about the Bible is the word of God, and I'm like, so then why do y'all get mad at the Ku Klux Klan? What you mean why? Because they wrong. No, actually they're not. They're actually right and exact, and they can prove it with scripture, and I can too. I can show you the same scriptures they're going to show you. How did you miss that your God condoned and ordained slavery? And then came back in the New Testament and thought everybody was cool. It was like, oh, no, Jesus came back and said, no, but you niggas is still slaves. Sure, you love your master just like you love me. They don't read these things. They don't know about these things. Why? Because of the doctrine. In the doctrine, there's such thing called segmented biblical intention. There are only certain scriptures that they read. It is defeating to their ego and their emotionalism. It keeps them trapped. If they ever read every scripture in the Bible, yo, you wouldn't even touch that book no more. Because you would find out, first of all, everything that's connected to black people in the Bible was cursed by God. Fact? Who got cursed out of Noah's sons? Ham, right? Ain't Ham supposed to be the progenitor of black people? This is what they say. Bible that's supposed to be the spearhead or the first seed of African people is cursed by God. Come on, y'all. Come on. If you walk on a job and you get hired and your boss automatically comes to you and tell you ain't shit, you ain't gonna make it, would you stay there?
Some people
you do. I'm out of here. That
but,
means I have no chances in this motherfucker. I'm out.
Some people don't think that way.
That's the problem.
That's what it is.
You don't think. Have to in the very first book. Let's get this shit straight from the door. In this religion,
that's right.
It's not allowed.
That's why when you go, like I always say, when you go into these so-called houses of worship, you are a man's man, and you have that look in your eye to their hierarchy. See, they can tell right away. They size you up. I'm not going to repeat myself from the other show, but they size you up. They have their ways. They have little imps that come around and test you out. And, you know, there's always somebody who knows something about you unless you come from out of state. You in on the inner circle. And they're going to make it where it gets too hot for you to be there, where you're not going to even want to be there. The little slights, the little things that they say, they know. All through the Bible Belt, they already have their crew set up.
Right.
And they'll surgically go in what appears to be love to the whole congregation, but hate towards you.
It's business.
It's business.
It happened to you on a job?
Be there because it's going to mess up the business of their hustle. You know?
Same thing happens on the job.
Mm-hmm.
You bring me in on the job, act like he cool, but he's filling you out. Is he going to try to take my position?
Mm-hmm.
Can he fit in? Stay in his place? Yeah, they don't want that to happen in the church.
They can sense your energy.
Up.
Yeah. They can sense your energy. We're all energy, and they could sense it. And you see, out there who are listening, you know, negative energy. Some will say, oh, the devil, Satan, whatever you want to say what it is. They operate, that negative energy operates on a spiritual plane also. Assume that when it is that negative energy that, yes, I will step over it, I'll crush it, that we're all energy. That's some, I'm going to say it this way. That's some powerful shit. When you're not on your square the way you need to be, when you're off, you see, that's why there are distractions to take you off and out of focus on what you're supposed to be doing. So Don't think you can just do a head up. You know, you can go and visit your cousins or visit some family or some friends, and you're a grown man. Throwing these little blows, trying to play around with you. And you're like a little kid. You can't hurt me until he hits you in the balls. Oh, wait a second. Hey, that hurt. You underestimated him. You didn't keep your guard up. Balls and it hurt. Well, this is how they do us. So don't think that they don't know or strategically know how to come at you and study you. Estimate them. Don't underestimate them. But you gotta be ready. So it's like this gentleman who we always discuss fighting and fighting techniques and the mentality that it takes when you're in battle. He always would say, he wants to always avoid confrontation, fighting, or escalating a situation, taking ego out of it, even taking an insult to keep the peace. Cornered. And when you have no other choice but to not only defend yourself, but you defend yourself or whatever it is with deadly force. Hesitate or try to measure the force that you give out. You're ending it. You're ending it. You're ready to take them out. And especially in these situations in life, think, we got to watch out for the mugger. We got to watch out for the person at the red light that's going to carjack us or a home invasion. For those things too. But what about that person that you purposely let in, willingly let in through your front door physically, or through your front door into your life, sanctum of your life, because they call themselves brother so-and-so, or they call themselves sister so-and-so? Named church here in Orlando, another Seventh-day Adventist church, Emmanuel. People inbred, just I don't know what they go for. You go up in that joint and you have deacons and different people sitting down. They won't even greet you. They won't even front. They turning around looking at you. Look at you all funny. It's a cult.
Yes.
So I was asked to speak at that church one time. And I dropped a bomb on them until they asked me to sit down.
They told you to sit down?
Well, they didn't say it. They interrupted me because they said time was running out. And I told them, I said, I know you don't want to hear more of this. A couple of it wasn't long. They asked me. I'm not saying I'm some speaker. I'm not saying I'm some preacher, but they wanted to know where I was coming from. Staying there long, you know. I said I didn't plan on staying there long, but I guess they heard about me. This was years ago, but even then, like, he's different. Let's see if he's gonna get up there. I said, well, what do you want me to speak about? Well, you pick. Hey. Pull out these little pamphlets here, these little books and stuff. I got a lot of books over there. And you know, I use it to sharpen my mind. Talk about King James. I talked about King James, and I read it right out of a what they would consider a radical, militant, whatever. No, but it was truth and fact. And I was breaking it. It wasn't me breaking it down. I was reading something to them that their pastor wouldn't damn dare read to them. Giggling. There was no profanity. And I read it in a certain way. I left certain parts out that were hot. Come with it later. If I dropped some of the hot parts early on, they would try to shut me down early. So I danced around it, seasoned it up, brought them up a little bit, and came with it knowing that when I come with it,
right.
So they sent with a little henchman up. Brother Scurvin, we have to have 2 more speakers and we're running out of time. I said, I know you want me to sit down. Up there again.
Of course not.
You know, he's different.
Nope.
I even asked the pastor a few things of that church, and he just like did it. I thought he was like related to Floyd Mayweather. I mean, I just came, but I asked him a few things on current events and how he felt. Gonna come with it like that, and like I said, you know, do your hustle, you know, but that place there. It's so inbred. I mean, you had one of the deacons that used to go to the church and go in the office and jerk off to porn. But that's the house of the Lord. Going back and forth. What? Oh, what? I could, you know. Hey, but I'm going to say it this way. Child, please.
But this is why these things can go on. Because it really is not. I mean, you have to ask yourself something logically. Place was such a powerful place, or a place of empowerment, these things will not be able to go on.
It should be checking itself, self-healing, checking itself. You see something get out of line, you're supposed to speak about it. Not that, oh, that's the pastor, that's the deacon, that's brother so-and-so. And this brother so-and-so stuff got to stop. Please, look, stop letting these men up in your house. And even when you're damn married, because he's brother so-and-so, you go up in these churches and they're so ready to swarm you. And all of this, whatever, so-and-so. One church I was in, I gave this girl this nickname. I called her butt rubber. You know why? Wow. She would find herself at the end of each service rubbing her butt rubber. Watch.
Wow.
And she would arch the back, and you'd feel one cheek, and then you feel the other cheek.
So ask yourself, how can they be in that type of place and feel that way, do those type of things, think those type of things?
I'll tell it. I mean, I see it for what it is, and it's not like I go looking for things, but I like to see and watch. I learn from seeing. I learn from watching, and I just have the uncanny ability to catch those little quick things, those little glances, those little things. The expressions. I love faces. I love to look in faces, and I can read faces and body language. And I just love to, much as I like to talk, I can sit down and be quiet. On the job, I'm known as the quiet guy. When he go home, boy, he just talk up a storm.
Hey, you got to observe in order to either have anything to talk about.
Yes.
Our ancestors understood that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where a lot of the things that we give white people credit from. And there was no books back then. So why do you so the men that do all kinds of evil to you come and hand you a book? People in church that know, and who use the most generic terminology or the generic statement that, the oldest bones or oldest human bones were found in Africa, right? You the time span, and it's way further than these 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 year old. You'll believe in that. Something like this should tell you something. Gotta hold up. Is there a book like this? Was there a book? Why wasn't there a book? And where did this book come from? Come to the conclusion that it was the Word of God. I mean, you just gotta look at some of the dumbass things. Book that no one pays attention to.
Right.
At the beginning of the time, who the fuck was there to record this shit? Let's get into this. If it was only two people, who documented this story?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where's the proof of the documentation? It's been just two people. Somebody wrote this shit. Somebody had to be there. Who was there to know about this? Answers these questions. Nobody even pays this no mind. Oh boy, you silly. Don't question God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm questioning God. Matter of fact, find him so I can talk to him.
Let me just take a little quick commercial break, just to make a little mention. It's something that I just wanted to put out there to the universe for people who listen to this. A young lady named Simone Marshall, her old mother who died while in police custody in Texas on May 10th, 2016, the same jail, Sandra Bland. Seems like a pattern is developing. Please spread the word and share. They're trying to keep it under wraps. This is one of those Facebook shares, but okay, Facebook things to get out. You'll see it, and you might share it to whoever's on your friends list. 500 people, 2,000 people. If you're the limit of 5, people. You think it did, but it won't. So we got to talk about it, Google it, we talk it, beyond, because they can't stop us from talking. Marshall, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. And sorry to cut you. I just want to stick that in there.
No, that's good. And peace to her. She's an ancestor now. Mm-hmm. And we'll just say that her death was not in vain. Part about this, niggas is gonna get up and pray for her.
Right, and that's it.
Simmer on that for a minute, though. I just really got to think about this and do anything about this. They're gonna get up and pray about it.
Yeah.
Like, how much more praying do we do?
We need to
Why is this not clicking in people's heads?
We need to PREY now. PREY.
We've always been to pray.
Yeah, well, I'm saying not to be the prey. We need to prey on those who think that they're our predators now, in a wise way, and use force when necessary. You know, all up in the system. Any area of expertise that you look into, we are there. Why can't we be that righteous computer virus in the system?
Lord.
You know,
vengeance is the Lord.
They broke us up, mixed us up, sprinkled us all over the world, so we're everywhere. So why can't we do something? Why? Well, yeah, I mean, we know the answer, but we're too powerful. We're too strategic. We're everywhere. Some of us, and we're over here, we're over there, using a pistol to shoot up a house full of roaches. You might get a few of those roaches. I'm not calling us roaches, but you're not going to get all of it.
Right?
Exactly. You're not going to get all of us. So go and we're all going to go to the next level. Right? So why should we be afraid of going to the next level? Why are we living in a way where, like, oh, if I just keep quiet, I'm going to stay here forever. And if you stay here forever, about it. But you're not going to be here forever. So do something about it for the ones that come after us. And our life will mean something. Anything being scared. I'm a little fatigued right now. I drove 10.5 hours today. I did some other things today. But I'm enjoying myself and the bond and to make every moment count. Medium. But I run my mouth in the daytime, face to face, the same way. I never stop. Make your life mean something. And when it comes time, when you're in that strategic position, you do what you have to do. We have to look out for each other. Walk over us and whatnot. Some lady said something slick out the face to me the other day. But I got like 8-9 cameras on me. I couldn't do like the dude in what's it, Cleveland or Cincinnati? It on me, but I could. You going straight to hell? Boom! I would never do that to a woman anyway. But she wanted me to do something stupid, so I'll have your job. I stepped in and grilled her, and I just sat there like, just gave her that look like I ain't say it, but I'm in agreement with each other and for each other. You know, I saw 3 cops, brother, and I slowed down the bus and I'm looking. They watching me. You know what I mean? And where is it here? I always keep it close by to me. Bag on me all the time. Right? We all need to keep one of these, y'all. Come on now. I'm quick on the draw. Boom. Always ready. I always
tell them, brothers, never get caught without your spear. You know?
That's right. That's right. I keep it. Garbage out without it. Trust me. I'm ready to get some video all the time. You know?
Well, the problem is that, number one, telling you not to fight, even though he said it's a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he stressed to you not to do anything because the vengeance is his. About it. I've heard them say this all the time.
Precious.
It comes from women. The majority of it comes from women. That natural instinct and compassion that she's supposed to have for her people has been redirected.
It against, yeah, they turn it against us. But you know what? They don't like, our oppressor doesn't like when our woman actually see that same compassion.
They like it.
Right. See, they don't like that. They don't like when they see you in public being by your queen. They don't like that. Because they already.
Like that? Would you like that if you was feeding and taking care of somebody and they was being disloyal to you? Because that's who feeding and taking care of them.
Right.
They trading in their king for their white daddy. No one's paying attention to this. And this is where the pseudo is coming from.
Right.
They think they're independent, but they're not. You're only in the position that you're in because you are on the chessboard for them, not for your people. Couple, a black woman can get. Whether she go to school, she get a job, or she don't want to do shit in life but have babies and live off the system, they'll give her that too. Long as that nigga ain't in the house. I don't understand why women don't see this. Yo, you go get Section 8. What's the golden rule of Section 8? Can't be in the house. How are you helping the family? It's not designed for that. So wouldn't you be mad if you feeding something and it's being disloyal to you? Yeah, he mad. She treating you like a king. Why? Because he feeding her. She got that job to get that car. Or will put herself in slavery.
Exactly.
He the reason why she got that mortgage on her house, put that in slavery. Stuck in it to make sure she stay in it. In church, now you attribute this to your imaginary God. When you put all your energy into that, man, and disdain. Because he can't do what your white daddy do for you. But this was done in slavery. Did all the atrocious things to black men in the presence of the women. It was for that purpose, so that she could be the way that she is right now. Get knowledge and break out of it and snap out of it, we are going to continuously have this problem. It is not going to end, and it's getting worse. The children, the young ladies, the young girls who are watching this are growing up like, she don't want no black man. To the black man. She don't know why. She just do it. She think that's the way it's supposed to be. Why? Because this is what she's seeing. And they keep going on and going on and going on. When does it stop? At some point, and acquiring the knowledge is the only way this is going to stop. But not just getting the knowledge, but then applying it. That's what makes you conscious. Just because you have knowledge does not make you conscious. It's the actual application of this knowledge in your life, and you change it. It's a whole lot of niggas with knowledge, but their heart ain't right. They got knowledge, but their mind and their hearts ain't right. Just sitting right in front of them, the money, the power, the position. Slavery. Niggas going back and forth. My pastor better than your pastor here. That shit come from slavery. That's what slaves did about their slave master. Right. Is this not that? To get us, do us better. He give us better food. Clothes over here on our plantation.
Even the jobs, when they talk about, yes, in my building, where I work, my building, and then when you get that pink slip and you're walking out with that box, it's not your building no more. You don't even want to go down that same street no more.
Building.
It was right. It was never your building, but the master, and it's the same mentality transferred over. Yeah.
Black people.
Keep talking, brother. I'm gonna take this call real quick, right?
Go ahead.
Got an important call.
This is why black people do what they do. Regards to, well, I'm from this state, I'm from this block, I'm from this neighborhood. This all comes from slavery. All divided up. And you'll shoot at each other, kill each other, do all kinds of things over something that you don't even own. Things that you don't even know. People defend his religion, what they're defending. And the very thing that they're defending is the very thing that's killing them. It's not cool. I not challenge anyone who says that or the whole idea of subscribing to the idea of God from the perspective of Bible and that doctrine to be number one fact, and two, to prove to me that it has been beneficial. I could care less about anyone's individual personal experiences. I have plenty of people tell me, well, I experienced this and that, or they'll tell me what the Bible says, or I've even had people come at me and say, inspirational songs say this and this and that, and this is how I know that God is real. I mean, any concrete fact. It's all based off your belief. It's all based off of you accepting something that was handed to you. And you called it true because they said it was true. I wanted to go look up to see if it was really true.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I challenge any of you ministers out there, any of you who convicted about the things that you stand on and you believe, I challenge you. I challenge you to prove any of this. It was gone when I said this, but I'm saying it again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who me that these things are actually real and factual belief, not based off of your personal experience. Because experiences could be looked at differently from different perspectives, but the facts will always be the facts, no matter what perspective you look at it. A tree is a tree, no matter whether you bump into it or you go around it, it's still a tree, right? I need you to prove it. And the second point, I need you to prove that this has really been beneficial for Black people. Because I can tell you something that's crazy. Damn, but it's two things that don't ever disappear in Black neighborhoods. Do you know what they are?
You said how many things?
It's two institutions that never disappear in Black neighborhoods until they re-gentrify. But as long as they are Black populated neighborhoods, they tear shit down, rebuild it up. And two things that don't never go nowhere.
Well, I know the church is gonna be one of them.
And the other one is the liquor store.
I was gonna say I should have said that. I should have said that. That sounds like a joke, but it's the truth though. But you know what somebody pointed out to me? In the Black neighborhoods, they call it the liquor store. In the other neighborhoods, they call it they'll say wine and spirits.
Wine and spirits.
Why is that?
I'll tell you. It depends on the location of where you at. Liquor stores in those areas are wine and spirits. Like in Pennsylvania, they're called wine and spirits. You got to understand about Pennsylvania. It's a commonwealth, and a very rich history and a very rich Caucasian hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things are going to be a certain way, and it's regulated, and it's called wine and spirits. But in some other areas, they're called liquor stores. And the churches and the liquor stores be right near each other. That's the thing people don't pay attention to. I lived in Jersey City, and shout out to anybody from Jersey City. I lived off a street called Van Buren, and it was known for a lot of crazy activity. But at the end of the block,
I've been through there. I didn't indulge in the activity, but I've been through there.
On Van Buren, matter of fact, right at the end of Van Buren, across the Hudson, was on the other side of my block. I can't think of the cross street, but right across the street at the corner was the storefront church, and right next door to it was a liquor store. So the people in church is getting it on, they cracking, and it's niggas in front of the liquor store. And then I've seen some of the people come out of the church and go right next door. Keep them drunk, keep them sweet, you good.
Yeah.
Why don't we not understand that? I used to ask this question all the time about slavery. There was so many of us, amount of them. Why didn't we never just jump and handle business? logically that they did that will make you, even in large numbers. This is the question. Happened to us that we will lose this thing. And I just gotta stress it. It has everything to do with that religion. They did not give it to slaves for no reason. Because if somebody puts you in captivity, do all kinds of manner of evil to you, why would he give you something that would save you from him? That to only say, here, and I'm gonna show you a way how to beat me. It doesn't. And it has done nothing. Most churches are in neighborhoods that are horrible. I used to ask that question. Because around the churches are fucked up. Why, if you think this is so powerful, does it not have changed even the people in its environment? It's sad. It is sad. And that's why I go hard. I don't pull no punches. I don't care. I'm not here to care about your feelings. This is the reason why we in this shit. Get out your feelings. Because it ain't about feelings with them.
Right.
It started out with feelings. They felt some kind of way. Why? However they came about, I don't know. There's certain things I put in the list called super theories. And how white people came about, that's a super theory. You go right along with the UFOs, aliens, and all that. Until you can prove this to me, listen. Over there, we don't know how they came about. We just know that they ended up here. Something came out of wherever they came out of. They noticed that the entire planet was full of us. We was everywhere. We wasn't just on the continent. We was everywhere. Because they so nosy. So they digging and found it everywhere on the earth. And now they keep coming up with pepper noses. Nigga ass lips and bell pepper noses everywhere. Get into it. It's our planet. But if a person can make you think that the only reason why you here and you exist is because of them, man, you got. Or as they say on the West Coast, you gaffled. You have been gaffled. We have been gaffled. Something vicious. And niggas won't snap out of it. How did the hyenas ever hang out with the lions? One is not understanding this. There's an order to the universe. Everything has a polar opposite. Everything in the universe has an enemy. Does it not?
Of course.
This is the even balance. The crocodiles and the hippos be in the same waters. And the hippo know that the crocodile can get at him, and the crocodile know that he can get at him. Understand this. And there's a respect. So they can coincide, and sometimes they bump and they clash and they get it on. And because of these situations, they understand, yo, I ain't fucking with him today. And vice versa. So to say that we can't live on the same planet, but right now we can't revisit that until we understand, yo, there's principalities to this shit under the Big Worm Act. Yeah, there's some principles that are not being applied here. Like, yeah, this is very obvious that there are certain people that do not like us and do all kinds of manner of evil against us, and we sit here and act like it is cool.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And the reason why you humble yourself or bow to that is because of that religion. Religion, culture has everything to do with that. And when somebody else dictates your religion, they dictate your culture. Now they change who you are. Any of them. Pick any minister. Prove me wrong. Get the biggest one. Go get them. But they not. They're not going to come answer these questions. Answer for these questions. So they hide behind their money and their resources, and they continue to pillage their own communities. That's what it is. Period. And we go for it.
Wow. This is
We go for it. All these atrocities and things happen. And I've heard some people say, God, it is obviously what God intended for your life.
Yeah, right.
So that you could be a testimony. It was intended for that child to be victimized so she could have a testimony. Children to be victimized so they could have a testimony. And you would attribute, this is the nonsense that black people say. But that's because they ain't in their right mind. Mm-hmm. They're retarded. Don't take this in a negative way because you don't understand words, but the definition of retarded is a person that don't think right.
Right.
And we ain't thinking right. And we ain't been thinking right for a long time. And with no accountability, you do it naturally, you think it's okay. And you justify by it. You are, if you in that religion, because Jesus died for it. So you good. But these problems are still around. Why are they still around? Because you're praying and you fellowshipping and putting energy into nothing. That's what it is. It's nothing. My mother can't understand when I tell her, I honor you and I worship you. I know in her mind she think I'm blasphemous and I'm crazy. But why would I not honor and worship the reason why I'm even alive?
Exactly.
How I'm going to attribute my existence to something that ain't there. That ain't. Jesus ain't come and take care of me when I was sick. My mother did.
Yeah. See?
When I needed clothes, Jesus ain't gonna buy me shit. Shit, my own father didn't even go take me shopping. My mother did. I was hungry, my mother fed me.
That's right.
Not honor her. How would you not worship her? Because your oppressor took her out of her position of divinity. Mm-hmm. She don't even know she divine. She in there crying, boo-hooing, moaning, foaming at the mouth, falling out, gyrating, acting wild, and don't even know she really trying to find herself. Damn. Have you not ever heard this? A woman ain't never satisfied?
Yeah, I heard it.
With nothing, always complaining, right? That's why, because she fucked up. She mixed up. That was the whole point. Because she really trying to find herself. But the doctrine, we have a terminology in Philadelphia about people that's just gone. It's called shot out. Shot the fuck out. They shot out.
Right.
They so far gone. This is the problem, and this is why you can't. You know, a black woman don't want to hear shit about her culture, and that shit ain't got nothing to do with a Gucci bag. It ain't got nothing to do with a shopping spree. If he can't do certain, she ain't trying to hear none else. Or talking about her Jesus, she ain't trying to hear none of that. And she don't even realize that's what's going to save her life. But it's about to get real out here in the field. And them same black men that she don't want, that she hates, is going to be the same nigga she going to need.
It's a heck of a thought.
Because it's going to get real out here and you're going to have to. They can talk all tough, all crazy how they want to right now because they got false courage because of their white daddy taking care of them. But when they white daddy stop taking care of them, yo, about 90% of them ain't going to kill nothing, let none die. Which means they going to need who? The same man she ain't want to have shit to do with. Right with Christ, he don't dress right. That ain't the man for me. I have a man a certain way. I used to hear women say all kinds of crazy things. And these are supposed to be church women, women of God. On Friday, word. Like I used to hear the most insane shit. I'm like, and you wonder why this nigga is the man. Look, and I'm not saying that what men do are right, because we wrong too. We just as wrong.
Oh yeah,
we are just as wrong. I used to be a part of the problem. I'm telling you. But if we can't come together and leave certain things out, this is where we go wrong as black people. Other people don't. All these other races, they participate in this nonsense too. Here's the difference though. When it's time to handle business about their peoples, then you leave that shit at the door. You be whoever the hell you want to be after this meeting. But right now, we got to talk about our business. You a Korean first before you anything.
That's right.
When this meeting over, you can go back to being a Buddhist, Baptist, or whatever, because they got Korean Baptist churches, holiness churches.
You're right.
Okay? Black people ain't the only one that's been victimized by this shit. The difference is that it doesn't dictate their culture at its core. They changed. They converted and been indoctrinated in certain things, and certain concessions. The elite in their communities have made deals with the devil to make sure that they participate in the politics of fucking us over. This is why these people in our communities taking our money. It's a trade-off. They ain't teach you this in church. Because he's doing the same thing. You got to look at the preacher no different than you look at the Chinese dude who got like 2-3 stores in your neighborhood, the Arab dude, the Israeli dude.
Koreans.
The Koreans, yeah. And the nigga got his too. Trap houses everywhere. I was about to say it the last time he was talking about that role with churches. Man, it's capitalism. What you expect? Somebody gonna come to them churches? Because everybody need that dope, because it's a part of your tradition now. It was once your condition. Now it has become a tradition. And it's only tradition because of ignorance. I'm not saying that it was intentional. Again, we can't fault our fathers, our grandparents. They only taught us what they knew or what they thought they knew. But now, because we're so intelligent, because we have all these resources, I'm a tell a person, yo, because I hear some people be like, oh, that's that internet mess. You find anything. Man, pick a library. Do something that niggas don't do. Lift your thumb, stick it in the air, find a direction. You'll run into a library. Go pick a book. Read. You'll find these things out. Everything I'm talking about is not conspiracy here. It's not, yo, I'm telling some secrets. No, it's not. These are things that people won't do. Why? Because we live in our lower self. They don't understand. You let them tell you and demonize each of us, say they worship gods and all that, and they's all into animals and the nonsense. And that's because they didn't understand, but they don't have in them what we have in us to understand these things naturally. So they talk about the Sphinx, and they talk about the statues in Kemet. And in Giza, they have the lion with a human head. But it's a profound meaning to that. It means when you come into your consciousness, when you open your pineal, you can control your animal nature.
Right about that.
That's exactly what it means. And the preacher ain't gonna teach you that shit. Why? He's just like the fucking physician. If I have to give you something to cure you, nigga, you ain't coming back. I'm gonna keep making money if I can cure niggas right now. If I give you the word and you cured and you done, what are you coming back to church for? Because most people go to church because they say they need something, right? I need to hear a word from the Lord. I need to get a good message. I got problems. I need to go pray. When you don't feel good, you need to go to the hospital, right? You need to go to the doctor. I need to go to the clinic. But you don't never get nothing to cure you. You get something to mask the pain. You got to keep coming back. What's the point of being in business if people not going to keep coming back and spending money? So the preacher can't tell you how to really get right. He talking that shit, but you ain't getting right. Why? You got to come back next week. Stay tuned to that back channel. Come back next week and bring your pocketbook and your checkbook with you. Because this shit ain't free.
Right.
Because I got to pay for them lights, this mortgage. I got to break the deacons and the trustees off with this. Even though why? Because they know what's going on in the back too. And I got to get my cut. I got to pay for that Audi out there. My wife got a Lexus. I got to pay that mortgage.
Same hustle. Different packaging.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes down every day.
Brother, another 10 minutes. I'm going to wrap it down because I got to do something. I got to take an unexpected run out.
Yes, sir.
But man, we took a trip tonight. So I just want to say to everybody that found a few more of these stickers, y'all. So if y'all want, just they go in the back of the windshield, in the back of the car, give them away for free. So hit me on the text 407-924-8793. Your name and address, I'll mail them to you. Also, the page for those mugs will be up this weekend for sure. My site was down from Saturday till like Wednesday night, and we had to dig deep. And I was about to pull out some eyeballs over it. So the page for the mugs will be up this weekend, and you'll be able to purchase these mugs, Lancescurv mugs. Let me hold up a little closer. Good quality, yes. Nice red on the inside. But brother, just share, because we're gonna do this again and again and again. So
yes,
just let's come down to a smooth land in 5-10 minutes, and we'll wrap it up. And boy, that's a lot of doggy bags on the intellectual level that we have from you tonight.
I mean, and honestly, I hope that we could get into some other subjects, and this is still going to lead back to this again because this is at the core of our problem. So whatever we talk about, I'm still going to have to come back to this because I've come to the conclusion that this is the problem, even in how we eat. Like I studied under Dr. Sebi, and I understand he made something very clear. Their diets, they come with your religions. Everybody in every religion don't eat the same way. You know this to be fact, right? Look at the diet of Christians.
Oh God, terrible.
So we can have a conversation about health and diet, and I still.
Oh yeah, we got to do that for real. Strictly on that.
But I still got to come back to this because the reason why you eat the shit that you do is because your God said it was okay. Why? Because all you got to do is pray over it and you're good.
Kiss it up to God.
No research the fact that you're not even eating real food. Half of that shit is plastic. You don't even know that you're eating that. All you got to do is pray over it. The Lord bless it and I'm good. Okay. And I guess when you get food poisoning, I guess the Lord ignores you.
Right.
What happened? Say God is black. That's what they say. God is black. Jesus is black. And I'll say, I know that it doesn't exist for real. But if we just want to use that, then I always have to agree with you. Because it's funny. God can show up on time for the cool shit. But when the real shit come around, they always late.
Oh, you gonna make somebody mad at you tonight.
Don't niggas always be late? Don't we always be late? We always go color people time. God be on color people time too. So if you want to say God black, okay, I'll agree with you on that point because he ain't never around for this. And ain't just black people. You may be around when you got money. You go to the club, you can buy drinks, we can go out eat around. But when you fucked up, you need help. You down. Where is your homie at?
I know.
You need him to come pick you up. I'm on my way. He told you that 2 hours ago. And then your Jesus be doing the same shit. But don't nobody want to say nothing about this.
Yeah.
So I say this, and I'll end my point from this. And it's the quote that the little quote that I came up with from watching the Jim Jones story.
Mm-hmm.
Separation to put you into a position of desperation, because then you will sell your soul.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Beautifully said. Brother, I just want to say how much I appreciate you taking the time to share this. I can't even explain it. I want to hear the comments on this one. You know?
Yeah, I hope it opens up. My purpose is to make people think. That's all I want you to do. Just think. I ain't here to try to convert nobody. I'm not even telling you to walk away from your religion. I just want you to understand, yo, there's some things about what you're participating in that you think that you know that you don't know. Mm-hmm. And before you refute what I'm saying and say, yo, you don't know what you're talking about, and I know for a fact, I don't got to know you. Niggas say this all the time. You don't know me. I don't. But I definitely know. You know, my grandfather used to always say, a person can believe whatever they want about you, right, until you open your mouth and remove all doubt. When the niggas start opening their mouth, and I know you don't know what you're talking about, and I know you ain't never researched nothing, so how can you refute me? That's like me arguing with a plumber about plumbing, and I ain't never read a book, did nothing on it. That's what I'm saying. We need to cut this out.
That's right.
Thank you, good brother. And to everybody out there that's listening, again, this is not about hurting nobody. It's not about putting anybody down. It's just really about think. That's right. Pay attention. Because the shit defies common sense, really. Seriously. As my father used to say, shit don't make good nigga sense. It just don't. I mean, it just really don't. We had to get into the Bible stories and just, I mean, God, like, really. It just, come on. Think, people. That's all I'm saying. Think, man. It don't cost to do that.
You're right about that. Wow.
It don't.
I'm gonna sleep deep tonight, man. That's all I do is think. And when I said sleep deep, meaning it's a good thing because I have something to feast on. I gotta always either talk something, put something in my head, or read something where I can, do a time release, self-educating of what I feasted on. And that's an old trick most people know, or some don't know, that when you put something in yourself, when you read something, you go to sleep on it, you internalize it. That's the last thing you had in your mind for that day. So try to put something in incrementally that you want to learn. If you want to break it down into small parts, just take a little bit at a time, read a little bit. Don't force it. Say it over in your head and just doze off with it. It will become part of you. Trust me.
Oh, brother. And I don't mean to extend it because, I
no problem.
Talk all night. But it's crazy that you said that because it just came up in my spirit. And I wanted to say this, and I don't know why, but I just wanted to say to people, to sleep with your TV on.
Oh. Ground. Yeah, those things will sink into your subconscious mind.
Spirit. Yes.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
You wake up thinking your Nene Leakes. You wake up thinking you're RuPaul.
I used to do it all the time. I used to wake up to some of the craziest shit.
And it's part
in the middle of the night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I don't have a TV in my house. I don't watch TV. I don't. Because I already know what it is all about.
Go on to the days when you'd wake up and see the colors, the spectrum. Still, it was a bad thing. They were trying back then when you'd wake up and see the American flag. Doom, 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 doom.
Right.
You knew it was late.
Now you can wake up to anything. I mean, I done been woken up. You know what? I used to watch BET and go to sleep. And then I'm done. I ain't gonna say nothing else after that. But I used to go to sleep watching BET.
Straight poison. Thank God you survived.
He used to wake me up in the middle of the night. One was that preacher. I don't know if he's an ancestor or not. I don't keep up with him. But it was the dude that used to say God real crazy. When he preached, I don't know if you ever seen him. Yeah. He gets the screaming. He do the.
But how about that white man? How about that white man what's his name? Tillman or Tilden or something like that.
Robert Tilton.
Tilton.
Yeah,
and he was
on TV too.
Late at night. Like, is this guy for real? Whatever happened to him? Let me Google him and see. Let me see what happened to him.
I don't care, but I used to wake up to them. I used to wake up to them dudes, and I used to be like, yo.
He's somewhere in a small hick town hooked on methamphetamine somewhere, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I hope so, because I know he got a lot of black folks' money.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people put money into him. Pat Robinson. I got a problem with them dudes. About them right now. I got to worry about my own people because we doing it to our own self.
Tilton exposed. There's a scandal. Yeah, okay. So those who are watching, check that out. Robert, Google that. YouTube and put Robert Tilton exposed. You pull up a crap load of stuff.
You're old enough to remember this, sir. I know I said you're old enough to remember this. And you want to talk about these preachers. Do you remember when your man, I want to say, what's the Graham? What's his name?
Billy Graham?
Billy Graham.
Yeah.
Do you remember in the 80s when Billy Graham got on TV? That God told him he needed to collect $1 million or he was going to die?
Yeah.
He had that telephone and the nigga didn't die. Because he didn't collect $1 million. That was the whole thing. He did not collect $1 million.
Right.
And that nigga lived on for a long time. I don't even know. Is he still alive? He might still be alive. Is he alive?
No, he's dead. His son took over, I think. Because it's a business, so they have to.
And I used to ask my people, was like, yo, y'all watch this dude? Because Billy Graham was like, yo, that was special.
Yeah.
They're coming on TV. Yo, I don't care. Nick, I don't care. Niggas
Billy Graham. Yeah, Billy Graham cleared the streets. Yep. Especially back in the 70s. Billy Graham.
Niggas would actually go home because Billy Graham was coming on TV.
Yeah, Billy Graham or Muhammad Ali. They cleared the streets.
Yes, sir. Yes, we did. So, I used to be like, yo, can't y'all see that this is a hustle? Like, this man just came alive and he said God told him $1 million. He was going to die.
Yep.
He didn't get $1 million in that weekend, and he didn't die. Niggas are supposed to put his ass in check.
But you know what, though? He must have got some money, though. He must have got close to $1 million. And he said, boy, if I'm going to die now, I can't die now. I got to spend this money. He used the reverse Jedi mind trick on people.
Yeah, it's nonsense. It's like, how do you not question this? Because I would. I did. Like, yo, crazy. Yo, he said he was going to die. He's not dead. Explain that. Yeah.
Wow.
And people wonder why I don't have nothing to do with church. This is why. But I feel like I need to be going back to church again. Because I know I can't be converted.
Pull them out.
But I think it's time that, these people need to start again. Yeah. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. It has to. It's our duty.
Oh, yeah.
By nature, as men, to protect the women and the children. Right now, I feel like I got to protect. And that's why the women is my target, because that's the target. The women in the music is the target. Because they use the women against us and they use the music against us. And this is what's going on. Because they both have everything to do with our empowerment. The music, the drum, the rhythm is ours. We started that. That's what made us do the things that we did. And our woman was the driving energy. You take both of them from us and now this is where we at. But I'm afraid a lot of our women, like I said, is so shot the fuck out, they ain't coming back. There's some that's just not going to be saved. They're going to die with their Jesus. And this is that.
Many don't have to die because they're already dead.
Yes.
For so many reasons. I would look, even today, just driving around, I'm looking at people and they're like zombies. There's nothing activated inside of them. There's that life, that spark. is not there, when you have a spark, there's an excitement. There's zombies now. They've submitted to this pseudo reality that doesn't bring them any joy. They just go from one function to the next, one bodily function to the next. They enjoy their bodily functions more than they do life. When I hear people on the bus, man, last night, man, I got me some good head. Man, last night I ate some good food. Man, I slept good. Man, I took a good dump. Man, I'm one bodily function to the next. Not seeing the beauty of the unity that we can possibly have. Not seeing the beauty of creation, beautiful sunset, just to be still and hear the birds and the breeze on you, and to digest a good, clean meal, not this pre-embalming junk that they're eating that's bringing them to the hospital to make the doctor rich, right? It's just, we're in this trap, man. And it's like, I would have no problem walking away from it.
It goes back to what I said about controlling your animal nature.
Mm-hmm.
The pineal gland is important. The pineal gland is probably one of the most important parts of our body. And people don't know this. They don't teach you this in church.
That's right.
But your oppressor knows, because he did studies about it. He did studies on black and white men during the Vietnam War. And they found out about this pineal gland. And that ours had liquid in it. And theirs was calcified. So now the war is to keep us asleep. Keep us eating the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
We're becoming degenerative. And we're not using it. But when you come into your third eye, when you come into your consciousness, that changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, this nonsense is going to continue on. The saga will continue. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It is only just getting started.
Yeah. Momentum is kicked in. It's like a boulder rolling down the side of a mountain. Most of us are going to get crushed. Set up.
But I knew it was on when I was in Atlanta, and I seen the billboard of a church, and I didn't call them out.
Eddie Long.
Not Eddie Long. It was some other church. I can't think of the name of it. All I know is nope.
Create a flow of dollars.
I don't know the name of them. I just remember this billboard. I didn't even try to look to see who it was, because when I saw what was on the billboard is what I was like, oh yeah, it's on. Mm-hmm. It's really on now. They're there. The pastor was a woman, and the first lady was a woman. And I'm going to leave it right there. Mm-mm. So when I seen this, I said, oh, it's on. It's on. We are fully all the way in. This is being accepted. You have a church. Mm-hmm. And your pastor is a woman. And the first lady is a woman too.
Oh, God. Yo, let's end it on that, man. That's crazy. Man, listen.
Well,
we're going to talk in a few days, and I'm going to definitely call you tomorrow. And
yes, sir.
Man, that's a heck of a, I'm going to have to listen to some music or something, get that thought out of my head.
You should look it up, research it. I cannot think of the name of the church, but if you go Google and research it, it should come up. Matter of fact, I remember the billboard. The billboard is kind of like in purple. You know what I'm saying? But it's two women. It just like all the rest of the big churches, they got billboards, and you see the pastor and his wife on there, and the church name and the child. Same thing. Except it was just two women.
Oh God.
So I'm quite sure in a minute you're gonna see some with two men.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Yeah.
We all the way in now.
Then you're gonna see Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, all of that nonsense. Absolutely.
Oh man, crazy. But yeah, man.
First lady Brenda, but she was born Bryant. Yeah.
Church of Confusion.
Yeah. Or what we say in Philly, the world according to boys and girls.
Oh.
Girls that want to be boys and boys that want to be girls.
Nobody wants to be what they, that's true.
It is.
I'm coming up on the limit, man. I gotta bounce.
Sir.
We're gonna talk tomorrow, and I appreciate you. And for everybody who is in the chat room, everybody who's listening, thanks for the support. And just share the content. 079248793 scurvmedia@gmail.com. If you have any topics that you want to speak about, reach out to me. It's an open forum here. We talk about the things that other folks don't want to speak about. It's been an honor, and I couldn't think of anywhere better to learn this stuff. And who else would talk about it like you? You're unique, you're powerful, and you have so much more to share. And I'm loving the vibe. And thanks for the time spent.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, brother. You take care.
And you all have a great day.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Lancescurv.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.
So, my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth.